This is your stop for all things pop. Catch our all-around pop culture geek, Chola Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munchin' with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
What's poppin', and welcome to Popcorn with Chola Sediaren, your stop for all things pop, where we talk about all things pop culture from the Philippine Islands to a galaxy far, far away. And if you're new here, welcome to the show. And if you've been listening ever since, welcome back and thanks for listening. So before everything else, of course, I'd like to introduce my co-host for the day. Of course, we have our returning squad, Faves.
Yay.
Of course, we have Emil.
Yay, hello.
Paula, welcome back. You haven't been here in a while. And Dren.
Hello. Second time.
Third consecutive episode.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I'm
And-
making up for last time.
Yeah, and we have a special guest from the United States of America. We have RJ, who's actually one of Dren and I's batchmates
Yes.
eons ago.
A
Yeah.
galaxy far, far away.
from basically
Long time
a long time ago,
There you go.
literally.
My bad. It was right there.
The galaxy called the Ateneo Grade School.
Yeah,
It's like
ang
right there.
pero medyo malayo nga yun from
Yeah.
where we are right now.
Yes.
So if you haven't really noticed what we're gonna be talking about today, it's a little franchise
It's
called
a little indie movie.
Star Wars, and specifically the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, okay. Sorry, spoiler.
Okay, pero yeah, how are you guys in general? I mean, yeah,
How are we doing?
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sick.
Kwento ba kayo?
Yeah,
Thanks for
minimalist.
coming here.
I,
I mean,
I still have bed bugs, so I haven't been able to sleep in my bed for the
If
last.
you keep up
Oh
with the middle,
no.
you'll know he has bed.
Yeah,
Follow me,
it's a great adventure.
Well, it's really like flu season right now.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
habagat na kasi, so medyo
It's
malamig.
lamig.
May sound effects ba tayo from
Yeah, I know.
RJ? Walang ad. No, we just want to talk about our lives. But anyway, if you haven't listened to our old episodes, you can go and listen to them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you stream your podcasts. And of course, they're also here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. We have so many shows on the roster as well, so you can go check them out on the Facebook page and Twitter page and Instagram page of Radyo Katipunan. And of course, yeah, let us begin our discussion on the Rise of Skywalker or the new trilogy in general. So, ayun, let's just talk about how much of a fan we are of Star Wars or anong level tayo. So people are familiar
A
with
scale of 1 to 10.
yeah. So I guess I'll start.
Yeah.
Yes, please. all-
Yeah, I'll say that most of my fandom for Star Wars really started in 2015 with The Force Awakens. So I've seen everything, all the movies, and I recall like being in the 1990s in a party where it was a Star Wars theme, Phantom Menace pa.
Awesome.
I still have I remember the giveaway pa was like a Phantom Menace visual dictionary thing.
That's cool.
So it's so weird how I still remember that kasi may mukha ni Padme Amidala sa harap na may white makeup. yeah. So
It just coughs like.
pero parang
Sorry.
syempre those years after the Revenge of the Sith, I still watch that in the cinema, I remember, but the lost years or whatever, the non-Disney years, parang it was just like a pop culture thing to me that I didn't really quite resonate with. But when The Force Awakens came, that's when I really got into it more. So, but right now I'm not like a super intense fan.
He says.
Well, I mean,
Oo nga.
it's the costume of the day. Yeah, show all the merch, including
nga.
our
What is
Funko
this?
merch right here.
Not much of a
We all
fan.
have
Kaya nga new
Vices.
trilogy lahat, pero may mga old trilogy Funko Pops din ako.
That's true. All of these
that's
people
so
are from the
cool.
new.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah, and
overlap.
Kylo Ren lights up and makes a sound.
Show Adam Driver's face.
You can't.
just rips it off.
Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean,
Okay.
I really enjoy the new trilogy, and most of my fandom is attached to it. So, mas
Yeah.
forgiving ako, I can say,
okay,
for
gets,
the new trilogy more than like super crazy fans from the past,
Not like
which we'll be talking about
to
later.
Marvel, like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I guess anyone can start.
I would say that I'm a fan of Star Wars. I'm not a gigantic fan. Like I don't go to war online. Thank God. But
it's so hard.
yeah. I remember the first ones I ever watched were the prequel trilogy, and I remember being so excited for Revenge of the Sith that I don't know how old I was then, but I like cut out from the newspaper like pictures of General Grievous and all these other characters and stuck them into like a folder. And like I had my own like little hype board. I didn't do anything with it, but like I just
yeah, Star Wars.
yeah. No, and I remember like to this day I still really like Revenge of the Sith. And then yeah, the new trilogy I generally really like. We'll get into why later. But yeah, like I don't necessarily consume like the expanded universe stuff. I don't play video games anymore.
Or Star Wars Legend.
Yeah, no, not
as
really.
so they call it.
I don't really watch any of the Star Wars shows, but I'm a big fan of most of the movies. Well,
Baby Yoda. Joke.
yeah, like just in terms of their craft and stuff. Like I would go to bat and say that A New Hope and Empire are still like some of the best
Yeah.
like adventure films ever
Yeah.
made. So yeah.
Phantom Menace was the first movie I ever watched.
Wow.
It's like-
Because it was just me and my dad. My dad is a huge Star Wars fan. He saw A New Hope 13 times.
Wow. In the cinema?
That's crazy.
Back when it wasn't expensive.
Yeah, so because his friends owned the
Oh,
cinema. So
Ah, okay.
So he
Can we find
cheated.
yeah.
Can we find someone who also owns a cinema who's
I'm
not?
sure.
Dren, si Dren.
Oh my gosh.
An open ad, please. You don't have a cinema?
So ayun, like it was the first movie I ever watched. It has like that sentimental value for me. But in terms of how much of a fan I am, it's not anywhere close to how I'm a fan of
Harry
Star Wars,
Potter.
of Marvel or Harry Potter, any of those things. But I think like I'm genuinely very invested because I spent my whole life, and I do watch some. I
Okay.
watched Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Age of Kings.
Oh yeah.
Which
yeah.
the trailer just came
I
out
did play
for-
the games. Yeah, that's right.
The trailer just
Battlefront.
Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody plays
Oh yeah, Battlefront
Yeah.
2, man.
I have not
Ever, literally.
the PS2 version,
Yeah.
not the PS4 one.
Lego Star
Up there
Wars
was like Bully and like
And then-
legendary games.
Yeah.
There's a Knights of the Old Republic
Yeah.
game then, diba?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can't recommend it enough. Well,
Yeah. I don't even remember. It's just one of those things that you kind of just go through. But
Yeah.
I really like.
And she went as a Rey
I
and
did.
Kylo cosplay.
Oh.
I went as Finn-ish.
Finish.
Finish. Wala na,
Someone from
finish na.
Finland.
Wore the flag of Finland.
I say that I'm not a super Star Wars fan, but I have a lightsaber.
Yeah, and her Rey outfit was bomb.
Yeah, it's probably the best cosplay I've ever done.
As in-
Really
Yeah.
great.
As in like this.
Not the white versions.
I know.
Yes, you look like a
the
Funko
TLJ
Pop.
one.
Oh, okay.
Gigantic.
She had gigantic eyes and a bobble head.
I wish. But yeah. Nice.
But speaking of the first Star Wars, every time I rewatch A New Hope, I'm so amazed at how advanced it looks for a movie made
Yeah.
in that era.
1977.
70s, diba?
77.
That's crazy. I'm like,
Original.
I can't find a copy. The last
So
time,
hard to find though.
do you have one?
No, I've seen like certain clips.
Yeah.
And now they have McClunky
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff. Because the
Yeah.
last time I rewatched it was on Disney Plus, so they had
Yes.
that additional scene.
Come on, VPN.
Come on, VPN.
Yeah.
That's Dora's new song. Come on, VPN. Joke lang.
Oh Jesus, I'm leaving. Not anymore.
Okay.
I'm a massive fan of Star Wars. Although I would say I'm a bigger fan of maybe like just two more fandoms, which is Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Those are like the two ones that I'm like massive fans of. But Star Wars is up there definitely. I remember specifically watching Revenge of the Sith in the cinema with my dad, who was a Lord of the Rings fan, not a Star Wars fan. But we watched it anyway, and I remember going back and watching it, like requesting to watch it again in the cinema because I loved it so much. And then obviously I went back and watched episodes 1 and 2, 4, 5, 6. I've read some of the graphic novels. I've played a lot of the games. Or if I haven't played the game, I've probably read up about it. I've watched behind the scenes. I know like how they did like the 80 scenes in like
Damn.
episode 4, which is amazing.
Wow.
It was stop
At-ats.
motion. It was stop motion.
At-ats.
By the way, that's literally just
Crazy.
It's just an insane amount of hard work.
Naka-zoom in lang yun na parang malaking
Yeah.
figures, right?
And there's a scene,
yeah.
there's a sequence specifically. This is a fun fact where one of the what do you call this? I forget what the ship's called. I'm a fan, but I don't remember what the ship's called. But on Hoth, where they're taking
Snow
down
speeders?
Yeah, the snow speeders. Yeah.
Not
Where
so
they go,
bad.
where they go like underneath the legs of one of the AT-ATs. So what they did was they got the camera right, which is on a rig, and then they like slowly made it approach the AT-AT. And then literally, as the camera got close enough to the AT-AT, a prop guy ran in, lifted it up so it wouldn't smash into the AT-AT.
Wow.
And it looked like the snow speeder went under the legs. So that's how they did that shot.
I should look for that
Yeah,
clip.
so it's amazing. So yeah, that's how my fan I am.
Okay. All right. So in my case, Phantom Menace was one of the first movies I watched, not the first, but one of the first movies I've watched. And since I distinctly remember watching the first two movies, and then my dad told me one day, you know, there's more. And he showed me like
4, 5, 6.
That's
Like,
amazing.
A whole new world.
the VCDs of like 4, 5, 6, and he was telling me like, okay, you see the bad guy, right? Darth Vader. Yeah, he looks cool. Yeah, that's Anakin Skywalker.
Why did spoil it?
Wow.
Yes, I go like, what?
Thanks, Dad.
Spoiler.
And then Darth Vader goes, I'm the bad guy. Duh.
No, okay, I watched that.
I think it's available now.
It took me a while to get used to how old it looked, but then I started to appreciate it. And then Revenge of the Sith came around, which is probably my favorite mainline Star Wars movie. Shoutouts to Rogue One.
Yeah.
But yeah, aside from that, I've watched all the Star Wars movies. I've watched Clone Wars, which is one of my favorite cartoons of all time.
Yeah.
Agree.
Awesome.
Season
I've watched-
7 trailer is now
I know,
out.
it's
season
out.
seven trailer.
I haven't seen the rest, so I didn't watch the trailer yet.
Okay.
And I also play a lot of the video games. What are my favorite? Shoutouts to Force Unleashed, which came out in 2008.
Awesome.
Oh, I played
Force
that.
Unleashed was
Awesome.
Astro
I'm so
fan.
sad.
With
that-
Star Killer? Oh, it's so good.
I'm so
Forgetting.
sad that they haven't canonized.
I
Emil.
know, yeah.
They haven't tried to bring that in. Shoutouts
Yeah.
to Force Unleashed and the great tie-in they did with that, where because it came out the same year, Star Killer, Yoda, and Darth Vader all got into Soul
Oh
Calibur.
yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
that's so cool.
It was like, oh my god, so Star Wars in a fighting game. And then I remembered there was a Star Wars fighting game. It's on the PS1. It's horrible. But if you want to check it out, dear viewers,
Shout out.
Shoutouts to Masters of Terras Kasi.
I don't even know what that. Sorry, I'm supposed to be this massive fan of
It's a Star Wars fighting game. It plays like a really bad version of Tekken. Play it once just to feel how it looks like,
Yeah.
and never go.
I made the face because I was like, "What's Terrace?" I don't even
It's
know what
supposed
is
to be
that.
some kind of weird martial art.
That's not one of the styles. Okay,
Oh no,
whatever.
but like, there is a reference to it in Solo before.
Oh, okay. Oh, is it supposed to be like what's his name?
Same.
This character?
Whoever Emilia Clarke was.
Yeah.
Whoever Emil
Yeah,
was.
sure. Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember who her name is off the top of my head, but she references it. And it's one of those weird games where it's like, hey, random AT-AT,
Kira?
random AT-AT pilot, do you want to go beat up Darth Vader with nothing but your blaster?
You can.
You can.
Amazing.
Hey, random Ewok, beat up Lord Palpatine, will you? That's a good boy. That was, I don't know how much PS1 game was. But anyway, yeah, play the last Star Wars.
And you'll probably be able to play that once the PS5 comes out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it has backwards.
Every copy of that.
I'm curious now. I wanna watch like
Would they
gameplay and
like
stuff.
re-release like the popular titles? Like would they do like Force Unleashed and like Bully? That's not Star Wars related, but just like the really cool like PS1, PS2.
Baka.
That'd be
I hope
really
so.
cool.
Sana.
I mean, they port over those games eventually, but yeah. Also, please canonize Force Unleashed.
Yes, I agree.
There, that's it.
Parang Pope siya kinaka-canonize siya.
You guys
Pope
think?
Saint.
Oh, man. I'll not bring it up.
Sorry.
Go Catholic education.
The two popes.
Go to Neo.
Okay, so now that we know our Star Wars history, I guess we should just start in general about how we feel about the new trilogy, because there's too much history to
Yeah.
go and talk about the original and the prequel trilogy. So, yeah, let's go.
I love The Force Awakens. Like, it felt like such a good
Comeback.
Good movie. Yeah. It was a good comeback, I think, for Star Wars. And I think it's one of those kinds of movies that I can rewatch over and over again. I
Yeah.
don't really have a problem with it. But in terms of the new trilogy, I think Last for me. The Last
Let's
Jedi
save that
stand.
for later. Let's have our
Bring
own
it up.
segment.
Still have it.
I agree though. I agree
But I
though.
think generally it's a fun series.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good as the original, pa rin,
Of
I think.
course.
Yeah.
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 But really fun. Yeah, I enjoy it. As a casual-ish fan that has merchandise.
That really likes what you do
Exactly.
know.
Yeah. Parang si Emil lang, paano kanina?
I keep remembering things.
Casual fan.
Yeah.
I know
Emil
that.
is
I know that
gaining,
too.
regaining his
Complete- I
force
legit
consciousness.
completely forgot.
Something like
Yeah.
snow.
Snow speeder.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my god, it is called a snow speeder.
Lego Star Wars, man. Lego Star Wars.
Wedge Antilles
I know that.
with the snow speeder
Hey,
Funko
what is-
Pop.
what is the question?
I mean, how do you feel about the new
the general
trilogy?
things,
Ako, you wanna go ahead, RJ?
Okay. Yeah. I like the new trilogy. I like all my movie-going experiences watching it. Force Awakens definitely felt like it was a throwback. I'll say that it's a
Yeah.
throwback.
Definitely.
Of, the original trilogy felt in that it set up this whole like that world of adventure. Like I like that. It makes you feel excited. It did a lot of really good world building, which I think goes back to the strength of J.J. Abrams' character. That he knows. Okay, I'll say this much. He knows how to start things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Sorry.
We will get back to that later. But I just said the fact that he can start.
Yes,
It was
yes.
so
Yes.
funny because when he said that, Emil's face just went like, huh?
I saw you, and it was like,
So funny.
I'm trying to find out to clarify.
Yeah.
He can
No,
start.
I agree. Like, I love his Star
yeah.
Trek. I love his Star Trek movies.
Yeah, same.
Yes, he's good.
Lost, yeah.
He's fantastic.
Was he the one who made the last one in that Star Trek
No,
series?
no,
So hindi rin, diba?
Hindi na.
Not,
No,
yeah.
I think he only made the first two.
Yeah, the first
Yeah.
two.
The
Into
Beyond
Darkness and
shifted
the-
into
yeah.
Justin Lin, yeah.
The Fast and Furious guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So anyway,
Whenever you bring that up, like, yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
but yeah, Force Awakens was a really good world building movie. Last Jedi, I respected a lot. Like even back then, I respected it a lot for trying to like deconstruct old trends with how Star Wars was like. We have to do away with the Jedi as like heroes that we should always revere and stuff like how not everything is about destiny. It's not always
Yeah.
about being part of a sacred bloodline or whatever. It's just that some things about that were executed a bit off. I guess that's why there was a bit of that backlash towards it. I mean, Rian Johnson's assistant. And then Rise of Skywalker. I will save my thoughts for that
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
Because it's our whole episode.
Yes.
Well, ako, I agree. I mean, with Force Awakens also. I mean, for people who were really big fans,
Yeah.
it's such a fun comeback to the trilogy, to the series you really love. Kasi I remember the first time I watched Force Awakens, parang premiere pa yata yun, or like special screening, and it was all fans talaga. And like when the people first saw the Millennium Falcon again, they were like
That was a great scene.
shout,
I think-
screaming, and like
I applauded when that.
fanboying so hard. And I really felt now, oh wow, that's one of the reasons then The Force Awakens really got me into Star Wars in general, because it's such a fun ride. And with the new characters, yun nga, it's a Star Wars for a new generation and the old generation, arguably the old generation, I guess. Pero with the new trilogy, what I like is the diversity of the characters, of course. I mean, we have Rey as the lead woman, but we have the legacy then, who's Ben or Kylo, and we have more si Finn, who's African American or African British. How do you say that politically
I
correctly?
mean, the character isn't African American.
He
The character is
isn't.
black.
But the character is a stormtrooper.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and we have Oscar Isaac, Poe Dameron, who's
My heart.
Latino. But when you talk about casting, not just the characters, but like the type of person or
Yeah.
the racial profile.
Deja vu. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
I don't know.
We're just recreating an entire conversation.
It's a loophole.
Yeah.
Okay, and then yun, it's really nice. That's why I really got into it. And then eventually, of course, The Last Jedi with Rose pa, who really deserves justice. But we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah. No, I agree with what everyone said. I just want to add that, like, I really like, even now, no matter my feelings toward Rise of Skywalker, I like how Force Awakens and Last Jedi really work as this sort of diptych, where they're really two sides of the same coin, where Force Awakens kind of shows us all the reasons why we like Star Wars, and then Last Jedi challenges those ideas. So, like, I've always viewed those two movies as sort of like meta fiction, even because of how, like, in the first movie, Kylo Ren is pretty much a fanboy. Actually, like, even Rey and Finn to an extent are fans, quote unquote, because
Luke.
because they've heard about
Story
the
of Luke.
legends.
Oh, Han pala.
Always the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah,
Always
exactly.
so.
And the fact that
Yeah.
scene Chewie, we're home,
Yeah.
that's like one of the biggest
Yeah.
parang
Yeah.
heartwarming scenes also for the older fans. And yun nga, the fanboy aspect.
Yeah, and then by Last Jedi, like, what I really appreciate also about what Ryan Johnson's doing was sort of challenging our idea of what a fan should be, or like how we should treat stories like this, which is a difficult question because Star Wars is so very archetypal in nature. Like, it's always been like a somewhat two-dimensional story of like good versus evil, which is
Yeah.
not bad. Like, Lord of the Rings is good versus
Yes.
evil, and I love Lord of the Rings.
Random things.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
So I really appreciate the fact that Last Jedi was trying to push us in a different direction. Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to go last because I feel like I'm gonna like say a bunch of stuff. But so like I said, I rewatched the entire like 6 movies before the 7th movie came out, and I feel like because of that, when it did come out, I didn't like it as much as a lot of people did. I didn't like absolutely love it. I thought it was great, but in my head I was like, but that's it? Because if you compare it to episode 4, which is the main criticism, I think
It's the
Seven
same
it's literally
pattern.
the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's the
Except
same
you
thing.
throw
And
Finn.
Jakku is Tatooine.
Yes, exactly.
And
Except you throw
like,
Finn in and everything. I do agree
Yeah.
that they handle the fan service a lot more, like, tastefully
It is
in
mostly just
7.
fan
Yeah,
service.
exactly. where there's like the what do you call this? Where Rey calls the Millennium Falcon a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Things like that. And then they has the Kessel Run line. Han Solo's
then there's kind of a cantina in Maz Kanata's thing.
But my
Yeah.
fear going into 7, after seeing Han Solo actually show up and not just have his name mentioned, was that it's literally like a continuation. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like a completely different story. Because at the time it wasn't called the Skywalker like
Saga.
right? The 9 movies wasn't called the Skywalker
Yeah.
Saga. We had no idea what to expect in 7. And we just knew there were a bunch of characters. Although I think one of the trailers had Han in it, and that was where my doubts started setting
It's
in.
the Chewie we're home.
And that's why going into 8 and after seeing 8, I was so happy because it was so different from what they did in the first 3 movies, and I didn't want the same trilogy.
Yeah.
So I was
Yes.
like, okay, that's really cool. And even though I will say that I think like there's a particular scene in 8 where Rey. Where if you haven't seen Rise of Skywalker, if you haven't seen Last Jedi, I'm gonna assume you're not planning on seeing it. It's been like 2 years. But there's a scene when Kylo Ren kills Snoke, and then they break out, And that scene is, I really don't like that scene. It's such a poor fight sequence for me because
Yeah,
if
you were
pay-
mentioning that last
Yes,
week.
because if you pay enough attention,
We will fight for it, Paul.
There's a scene.
I had to practice that scene with the
that's-
guy who cosplayed
okay.
as like
Okay,
Kylo
okay.
Ren.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out.
Well, there's just this one part. I mean, like it's just it's clunky because there's a scene
McClunky.
where Rey blocks like 3.
Oh no, yeah.
And then she kicks one and all 3 of them fly back and it's like
Ow!
did she force kick them? Sorry. Just things like that. But I love what they did to Luke in that movie. And I know
Yes. Yes.
I know so many people that are big fans of the canon because in the canon Luke's literally like a god in at that point when he's that age.
I was about to say like the series is so sacred that
Yeah.
I feel like with what Rian Johnson did, it angered so many people who
Yeah.
really view it as.
And had the whole milk
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Like he throws his lightsaber away.
I loved it though.
Yeah.
It was the best.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool
so
because-
let's signify our transition to The Last
We can't
Jedi.
start talking about the
Yeah,
new
obviously.
trilogy, the new trilogy.
Yeah,
Going
yeah.
into
This is our I love The Last Jedi segment.
Oh, God.
Which
No,
do we all agree
Here we
on
go.
that?
I love The Last Jedi.
It's so much.
Because it's the most divisive
Yeah.
one.
Even though it
was.
Yeah,
Now,
even though it's like super high rate, I think it's super well received by critics. Although I know the audience scores in a lot of websites isn't very high, but it also made 1.3 billion dollars.
Yeah.
which is like
Crazy.
300 million more than Rise of
That,
Skywalker.
that was all Cholo.
Wow.
Mostly just Cholo.
It's him buying.
isn't that part of the reason why you have Star Wars movies during?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just-
it's their MMFF-ish.
Yeah, and then we get it late because of MMFF. Surprise!
That's another topic.
Shout out to Shaw Cinema. We always have 2.
Shout out. We just talked about it in the last episode.
Yes.
I remember the day I watched Last Jedi it was like the first day talaga, and it was at like a special screening in MOA. And there had been no reviews yet, or I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause you got it earlier. Right?
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah,
did.
and I remember
You
going
saw
out.
it before, like you
Yeah,
watched
no,
it
that's
again.
right.
You
Yeah,
watched
yeah.
again
It
with
was like an
us,
advanced screening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And when I left the cinema, I was so certain. I was like, people are gonna love this.
Yeah.
Like I was so happy.
Yeah.
And like I started tweeting about it. And then like I remember hearing someone for the first time say like, "Oh no, I hated it." I was like my world.
This
Yeah.
opinion exists.
It was like I watched a different movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
a different reality. But
Yeah.
I mean, I it's been 2-3 years since the movie came out, and like I've heard like every conceivable argument, and I'm so tired of fighting
And
other
even
people about it.
reactions to The Rise of Skywalker are still related to
Yeah, diba?
The Last
Yeah,
Jedi.
yeah. There are some people who like say that J.J. Abrams had a difficult time doing Rise of Skywalker
Because of The Last Jedi.
I don't
which is
buy that.
Ridiculous!
I don't buy that
It's
either.
insane.
I'm gonna pause an argument about that later when you
Okay.
All right.
I do think that one of the things that people get stuck on the Luke character a lot. I think
Yeah, that
the
is
people that don't like it.
mostly,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
their main criticism is that I
complaint.
hate what they did to Luke. Even Mark Hamill for a time, it was very obvious that he hated what they did to his character. But if you look at literally any other character, especially Kylo Ren and Rey, their arcs are amazing. It's beautifully
Yeah.
written.
Yeah.
The idea that they're connected is so well done. And by the way, that's like the best part of Rise of Skywalker, and he took it from Last Jedi.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
True.
So,
I actually call it the Force time. I made that.
Parang FaceTime.
Parang FaceTime but with the Force. They have Force
Okay.
time.
that was like bullet
Isn't it
time.
forced diet?
I mean, it's a Force diet, but I
Yeah.
call it
Yeah.
the Force time because they talk to each other through the Force.
The Force, pretty much.
Shout
Yeah.
out.
Force phone.
And then how the alliance then I mean that is my biggest criticism is that why didn't they just tell Poe the plan because
I know.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. Why didn't he's
Yeah.
like a lieutenant, he's like second in
I-
command, and
But
they're
we
like,
had to
"No, you don't
feel
need to."
we had to feel for Laura Dern.
Yeah.
I know.
Future Oscar winner Laura Dern.
Yes.
But I will also say, sorry,
I should have brought my,
The Last
ano,
Jedi has my
my
favorite shot
Holdo
in
pop.
the entire trilogy, where
that?
they go into light
I was
speed.
about to say, it is that
so
scene.
cool.
That was so good.
It's
Yeah.
insane. So yeah, it has so much going for it. So yeah, I still don't completely understand why people hate it. Like I understand why you wouldn't like it wouldn't be your thing, but why would you hate it?
I know.
I was so shocked when Leia just suddenly
Oh, the Mary
forced her
Poppins thing?
the Mary Poppins.
That was just one of the oh.
That was so funny.
I was like, oh my gosh, and then she started flying. I was like,
know.
what?
Like, I was
Yeah.
ready to be emotional about it. Like she's
They kept-
gonna,
yeah.
she's gonna
But-
die, and then like
Yeah,
bam,
then, like, her eyes open. Oh god.
it was like a
That was like
beat.
slow mo pa siya, diba? For
Yeah,
a time
yeah,
with the
yeah.
glass and all that.
Yeah,
Funny.
That was just, I mean,
Have you guys watched the edits where she does the flying thing and it
Yeah.
comes straight
Yung
off?
tan, 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 tan.
Yeah, exactly. That was
Oh, hey.
Yeah, that was a meme, for
Right.
sure.
But yeah, I think that's what's really great. Yun nga, as you mentioned earlier, is that it really breaks the glass ceiling of Star Wars into the unknown again.
Yeah.
You have to sing
Kailangan
it.
mention na naman eh.
Into the unknown. Okay.
Okay.
Cannot hit those
Frozen
notes.
I actually haven't seen it yet.
Oh, wow.
I know.
I haven't either.
All right.
I'm catching up.
We
Okay.
all die.
Oh no.
But yeah, Emil knows this. We've had very Twitter discussions.
Oh,
about
yeah,
The Last
sure,
Jedi.
yes.
No,
Oh,
because
yeah.
I had to watch it like right before Tross, right? And I
Yeah.
just like have so many feelings, and I think the most important one for me is that it was mentioned earlier that you don't have to come from anywhere special to be like
Yeah.
special, which was so good.
That was
I really
like-
love
Kid.
that message.
Broom boy. Broom
The
boy.
impact of
Who
that
never came
scene.
right?
Broom boy. Yeah.
So
Kasi,
so it was so frustrating because of how good like The Last Jedi was building up all of these new ideas and just shattering all these things that I think that's why I think Tross fails for me. For me, because I absolutely love The Last Jedi.
yeah. Pero yun nga, I mean, that what do you call that room? That throne room scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, although it's not the best choreographed scene out there, I was like really like rooting for these people right
Yeah.
there, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah. It's cool.
that was just really cool, and yeah,
What they did to Snoke. I think
Yeah.
that's also another point that
all the
I love
parang
that.
I loved it.
I love
because, like,
it.
Because you're building him up to be the next Palpatine.
Yeah.
and then you kill him. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay,
Who's by the way, it's Andy Serkis.
It's Andy
doing that.
Serkis,
It's
yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I will say that I do sympathize. A lot before I used to just like outright just be like, it's ridiculous if you like don't like Last Jedi. But the more I've listened to, I've had to like force myself to like listen to why people don't like it.
Yeah.
And I will say that I do kind of get it in the sense that they were looking. Episode 7 set you up for a lot of fan service, and Episode 8 literally denied everyone of so much fan service. Like everyone wanted Luke to train Rey. That never happened. Obviously, he refused to. And the only training sequence he got wasn't lightsaber training, which is what Luke got in the original trilogy. It was like force training.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
I
like
feel the Force.
obvious. And then then Snoke, like you can tell J.J. Abrams had like this entire backstory for Snoke planned.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
never came out. So there's just a lot of I get it in that sense, but at the same time, if you're going into the movie thinking, if I don't see this movie sucks.
Exactly,
You're not watching the movie.
exactly.
That's like completely unfair to the
You're
director.
closing yourself off.
I think it's really just a matter of people had a lot of expectations of what they wanted to see,
Yeah.
and Ryan Johnson didn't necessarily
Didn't care.
care about.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean that's what made it really great.
Same. Please watch Knives Out.
Yes.
This guy, Knives Out, and he also did Looper
Please,
before.
and-
Loopers and
And please watch Breaking Bad. He directed the best episode of Breaking
Yes,
Bad.
he
So
did.
yes,
Did he do
yeah, Ozymandias. He did that episode.
Oh, okay, I'll rewatch that.
Yes.
Finished Breaking Bad.
But it's so funny because I dated someone who hated The Last Jedi.
We should have him here.
No.
Siya ba yung nakita mo lang? Siya ba yung kakakita mo lang sa kanya?
No, let's not bring that up, please. No, and I
T.
think, like, to be fair, The Last Jedi, him hating it was the reason why we went out in the first place, because he wanted to discuss it with
Wow.
me.
It was hotter
I
that
know.
way, joke.
It was a move. Like, I had no intention, and he was like, "You would like it? No, we have to meet up now." And I'm like, I guess. Sure.
Let the hate flow through.
And when we got there, like, he started ranting, parang, pagod na. So I just sent in Joms. I sent in my other friend, like, ikaw na lang makipag-away.
Yeah.
What I wish is we had someone on this
Yeah.
panel that
No, I do,
didn't
yeah,
really like
because
it.
It's
Same.
But I couldn't really find anyone in our circles who did
No,
not
yun nga,
like
he's
it.
the only one I know, and it's not like I'm gonna invite
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
I just have this fear that people that watched, people who really enjoyed Rise of Skywalker and didn't like Last Jedi, which is completely fine. I'm not gonna like call you a bad person or anything for
Yeah.
that. It's more of, I worry that it's more of being closed off to appreciating different
I agree.
things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes me sad is that I will, like, now I've cooled off a lot from Rise of Skywalker transition, but I've cooled off a lot from Rise of Skywalker. Initially, I hated everything about it.
Oh, I was in the cinema with Dren. You should have seen him react. It's
You
insane.
can tell I like a movie if I'm very quiet because I'm paying attention.
Yeah.
I was literally talking the entire time. So sorry.
And nobody
Sorry
cared,
to the
yeah.
people beside me. That's like rude of me, regardless of whether or not I dislike the movie. But anyway, but now it's like, you know what? I don't think it was nearly as bad as I made it out to be. So
Everyone says that after the second watch.
yeah, so now
You
it's
watched
like-
it twice?
No,
I watched it
haven't.
twice also. I watched it
Friends
twice.
watched it 4 times.
Yeah, I like how it was like judgment. You're like, you watched it twice.
Grabe, Emil.
Disney doesn't need more money, Cholo.
Well, one of my screenings was free, so I don't know.
Okay.
Whatever.
Bad take.
Okay, so speaking of the rise of Skywalker, we'll be talking more about that after this break.
Yay.
I can read your mind. I know what you're thinking. It's been too long since we last spoken. I can see it now, it's written on your face. So why do we keep playing games? I've never been the type to run. I've never been the type to let go, go, go. Ever since the day you left, my life's been such a mess, baby. Now, every time I see your face, remember the good old days. Do you remember? 'Cause I remember, so just wait with me, baby. Just wait with me, baby. Don't you let me go. Just wait with me, baby. Just wait with me, baby. Won't you let me know? It's been 2 long years since the day we ended. Makeup running, falling deep in the abyss. Conversation flowing, heads against my chest. Bloodshot eyes as I looked at you and said, I've never been the type to run, never been the type to let go, go, go. Ever since the day you left, my life's been such a mess, baby. Now, every time I see your face, remember the good old days. Do you remember? 'Cause I remember, so just wait with me, baby. Just wait with me, baby. Don't you let me go. Just wait with me, baby. Just wait with me, baby. Won't you let me know? Yeah. Come back to me, my dear. Come back to me, my baby. Come back to me, my dear. Come back to me, come back to me, come back to me. Sway with me, baby, just wait with me, baby. Don't you let me go. Sway with me, baby, just wait with me, baby. Won't you let me know? she was with me. Sometimes I feel like I don't care. Sometimes I feel like I'm not really there. Well, it should be easy to know what I am thinking right now. So come and tell me, come and tell me. I don't even know if it's like this, if it's like this. She will always know that it's like this, that it's like this. Run along, nothing to say. 'Cause all along you never mattered anyway. Sometimes I feel like I'm okay. Sometimes I feel like I wanna run away. Well, it should be easy to know what I am thinking right now. So come and tell me, come and tell me. I can't find the time, the lies to make you change your mind. I'm fine, just caught up in the lies you told. I tried to change you, tried to make you, and I don't know if I can break you. I can't save you. I don't even know if it's like this, if it's like this. She will always know that it's like this, that it's like this. I don't even know if it's like this, if it's like this. She will always know that it's like this, that it's like this. That it's like this, that it's like this. That it's like this, that it's like this.
Join Christian Bautista, Acel Santos, and Mark Bautista for the 143 pre-Valentine's concert on February 1st, 2020, Saturday, 8 p.m. at the theater at Soler. You can get your tickets at ticketworld.com.ph. And we are back here on Popcorn for our The Rise or Fall of Skywalker episode.
Ooh.
I do wish we had somebody that loved it here.
Yeah.
really do.
I mean,
I'll phone him.
I'm
Oh,
okay. So let's start off with
You
that.
might think it's like something
No,
else.
no, no,
though.
no.
Oh.
Start off with-
Yeah, I mean, general thoughts. Ako kasi, I'm more neutral than hate or love. I enjoyed watching the movie. I can't say like I was like really annoyed or super like. I mean, there are a lot of frustrations
Yeah.
which we'll be talking about more later. But generally, I'm more fine leaning towards liking it a bit, but still not completely fully liking it because of a lot of reasons. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I'm in like the okay territory.
Yeah.
Like, I think that if you
After all that you said,
in all honesty, like when I think about like not just Rise of Skywalker but the other movies, like if you compare them to other like big budget Hollywood blockbusters, I think they're the most cinematic.
Agreed.
Like they look so good compared to most other blockbusters. And for me, yes, yes. As much as I like the MCU, yeah. But yeah, so I don't think that's nothing. I think that there's a lot of talent and creativity talaga from the visual effects people, the production design people. The actors are all doing the hardest. Oscar Isaac, like he carried this movie on his back.
It's broken.
Yes. But like in terms of writing, like this movie sucks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how I feel.
okay. I mean, tuloy-tuloy lang.
Writing wise, it was just horrible. I think most like it because visually and like good score, you can't fault Star Wars. It's always just
And John Williams,
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
I feel like John Williams is always just going
That's not
nominated.
fair.
Always.
I was thinking like, this isn't even the best.
It's like the
Star Wars
Roger
movie
Yeah,
ever.
exactly.
And he was nominated.
It's
for
like the
this
Roger
movie.
Deakins of
Exactly.
sound.
Yeah.
Exactly. But yeah, I think I really dislike it because I love The Last Jedi so much. I love everything that The Last Jedi built up, and this really
What it stands for.
sound, which is just horrible. And I think
We built this empire and
Yeah.
they broke it down.
like Rey was so important to me as like a nobody. For
Yeah.
every child growing up, and to, like I just want a series of Star Wars where we don't focus on a Skywalker or a Palpatine. And I thought we were going to have it, and we didn't. So I think it's just very, very, and the lack of exposition or anything in this film makes me so angry talaga.
Everything just
Palpatine,
happened.
Really.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, fight scenes were Star Wars. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you expect from like,
Yeah.
Star Wars fight scenes? I really don't like it. I think I'm one of those people that
I'd say that's hot take, but I feel like everyone here agrees.
Yeah, no, it's not hot.
Okay. I just realized that I think I have a pretty good. I should be able to sympathize a lot more with the people that really like. Well, not the people that really like Tross. Sorry, just backtracking a little bit. The people that didn't like Last Jedi, because I remember that's exactly how I felt initially when I watched Deathly Hallows of Harry Potter.
Oh my god.
Because I was a
No, we have to discuss this later.
Because I was a
We have to
massive
have a
fan,
separate
and I was
Harry
so
Potter
angry at Deathly Hallows,
series.
and I look back now and I'm like, but wait, they're really good movies. They're just not Harry Potter movies, because obviously I'm basing everything from the book.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess I understand that more. So shout out to you guys. I don't want to give you guys a shout out. I still don't like you.
Wow.
Sorry. So with Tross, I think I agree that as coming at it from a Star Wars perspective, it's pretty mediocre. Because I hear people saying
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I like the fact that they included like Exagon. They showed Palpatine again, and they showed some new Force powers, which are canon. Like the whole
Force
the
healing.
the Force storm that
Ghost.
yeah, the Force Ghost. But the Force storm that Palpatine does it then, where he takes out the entire fleet. It's yeah, that's like
I had a different plan, but now I'm doing this.
like the
Oh wait, speaking of, if you haven't watched it
Yeah,
yet,
sorry.
Spoilers, sir.
spoilers
I'm so
ahead.
sorry, but
Whatever. I mean, you're here
like,
if you know we're talking about this.
Palpatine specifically, like in the first, like literally the first line of the scroll, which immediately put me off because I'm like, why wouldn't you give him a cool intro? Why is it just like, "Hi, I'm alive"?
They're
I'm not
saying
gonna
the
surprise
internet is
everyone.
saying it's so 2020
Yeah,
because everyone was listening to his podcast
Yeah.
talking about, "Hey, I'm here, I'm back."
Wait, no, when you want to know where you first heard that message.
Oh yeah, on Fortnite,
You
yeah.
had to so
Yeah.
like, you had to sign into Fortnite the week before Tross came out, and there was a point where like J.J. Abrams was playing there, and he was like, Palpatine was there to say the Sith.
Which is ridiculous because if you think about his character, like even in the first few movies, he literally hid himself for like 60 years and got married and had kids to hide the fact that he was a Sith.
And he
but now he's
banged.
like, "Hey, I'm alive, guys." Yes, he had
Like a
kids.
cursed child in Harry Potter,
Exactly.
right?
So it doesn't make any sense. Why would he do that? So Yeah, and then anyway, the Force Storm. What I was gonna say about that is that in canon, that's like the most powerful thing a Sith can do. So I'm sure everyone was like, "Oh my God, they showed it!" But then Rey just kind of blocks it with two lightsabers.
Yeah.
Windu.
Which is so dumb. Like she blocks it with one. It's like, this isn't gonna work. I better bring out the
The
second
other
one.
one.
So yeah, I think I agree that in terms of like you already talked about how bad the writing was, which I agree with. But just in terms of like, just look at it from a common sense standpoint.
It doesn't,
Some of the
yeah.
things they do don't make any sense.
wala
It's
talaga.
so
Even in their own
ridiculous.
lore. Like,
Yeah.
You remember the scene when Chewbacca quote unquote dies, and then Rey's like, "Oh my God, I killed Chewbacca." That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Next scene, he's like, "Oh, he's alive, haha." And also,
I wish they built that up.
Kylo Ren literally just showed that he can literally stop a ship mid-air, and he just kind of watches Rey and Finn and Poe fly away when they're like closer to him than the ship Chewie was on.
Everyone was even worse about that. Rey's like, I can't feel Chewie anymore. I think I killed him.
Yeah.
Several scenes later. Oh wait, I detect the presence. This
Yeah.
ship, despite the fact that that ship is much.
And then,
Yeah.
And then they were on.
And where was that other ship Chewie
Yes,
was actually
exactly.
Hold
on?
on, I was trying to think. Was it in the background?
There's only
oh
the
my
one.
God. Yeah, you literally watched him walk into it. Jesus.
I saw it. Okay.
And then what do you call it? The other thing that really makes me angry is the dagger that they use, because literally like 10 minutes in the movie you're like, oh my God, it's a fetch quest. Like they literally like, we have to get this MacGuffin to get to this planet so we can stop the bad guy. And of course how they get it is they have to look for a dagger specifically that has a map on it somehow. So yeah, by the way, they brainwash C-3PO, then they bring him back, so it doesn't matter anyway. This movie
Yeah.
is so terrifying.
They're suddenly
with
like,
consequences.
oh wait, doesn't R2 have your backups?
Yeah. Aha!
So I remember like that scene where he's like, oh, my name is C-3PO. I don't think I remember you if you were my best friend.
Yeah,
And it's
exactly.
like, what do you mean you want to diagnose my and
Yeah,
smash
and
cut to like, oh,
Oh.
R2.
Yeah.
I'm going
on
to
a
the mission.
mission.
Oh my God.
Where
Yeah.
are our master paraphernalia?
And then about the dagger, of course Rey's standing in the exact spot she needs to be standing. Then she pulls out a protractor from the dagger and aims it at the
true.
ship, and that's how she finds the.
She studied math.
And that means, by the way, there's an implication that whoever designed the Death Star, or whoever designed the dagger, like designed it with the Death Star or something, is like, no, she stands on this exact spot on this rock. 30 years later, it's still going to work. And these are
Oh yeah.
like,
Erosion is a thing.
Sea levels are rising.
and the ship doesn't move. The ship doesn't like sink into the ocean or anything.
Exactly.
No, it's just in the
That's
same
it,
planet.
that's-
It's just another excuse for them to go back to our previous planet. That was a really long rant, but I hate this movie.
Okay.
Turns out I still hate it a lot.
It's like the Death Star 2. That should have all been reduced.
I know.
to
Oh
nothing.
yeah.
It's like, that is like a ship that has been dead for like 30 seconds.
Exactly.
Surprise! It's here.
Happens, there's nothing left.
Everything's
It's
just so
literally-
convenient in this movie.
Yeah.
And like,
They don't explain anything.
Yeah.
Just like,
So they don't explain, hi, here are 1 million Star Destroyers that can bust planets. Where were they at?
yes.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. I mean,
and how were they built?
How
And
they-
where were
Who built
Who
that?
built them? Exactly. Like,
Where
who
did-
are these people?
exactly where did all these
Murdering
people come from?
Palpatine.
You're telling me Exegol is a planet that only Sith can get to using a Sith or Wayfinder.
But there are like thousands of people there.
yeah, there's the emo boys in the
Yeah,
hoodies
the
like in the
nerds,
back.
Not
Yeah.
just they're all
I don't even know-
Palpatine clones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And then Palpatine's
Like snow
literally just
clones.
like attached to this stupid, just giant machine, which is a
He's glad.
cool visual. I will give them that.
The
cool
visual is dope.
yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
But like everything
The song.
was
I love
apparently explained in some visual dictionary, which
That's
makes it
BS.
even worse.
Bull.
No,
Right?
Yes.
You shouldn't be required.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Everyone's
angry.
like,
Essential to the movie. That's supplemental stuff. You shouldn't use
yeah, yeah.
what you're seeing.
Yeah.
If
It's DLC. It's
Yeah.
DLC.
Why would I want DLC for my movie?
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Okay, alright. So, okay.
So many scenes that we could just knit.
So much feelings right here.
In your face bash. Yes.
Yeah. The biggest indictment I could ever give this movie, I say this as like someone who could easily turn off their brain and watch it as a casual fan.
Yeah.
Alright. I was here, I watched Rise of Skywalker 1 or 2 days after. Despite the fact I had like massive jet lag, I watched it, so I was here for
True
like 2
fan,
days.
true fan.
So, and also because like that was only the opening weekend.
Yeah.
Thanks, MMFF.
Yeah.
So
I'm from Star Cinema, by the way.
Okay, sorry.
It's
Not
okay.
your fault. Anyway, so this is the thing. I watched The Last Jedi under similar circumstances, and I was fine with watching that. I fell asleep 30 minutes into Tross.
Oh wow.
And I remember the exact moment I walked in was when the Ray literally lands into Exegol.
Yeah.
I slept
Literally
for like
runs.
An
2
hour?
hours.
Yeah. An hour maybe?
Oh my god.
It was like
Jesus.
that couldn't have been jet lag because I watched Rise like Last Jedi under similar circumstances.
No, and
I
you're
was
a fan.
And
Yeah.
yes, and that's the thing. That's the biggest indictment I could. It's like even if I'm turning my brain off, trying to just appreciate the spectacle, there's
Same.
nothing there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh hi,
I like
Lando.
yeah. It's like I
Yeah.
like Hobbs and Shaw more than this movie. And
That's
yeah,
why.
You know?
Wow, that's saying something.
Shaw was
why.
really.
I like cats more than this movie. I do.
Oh my
Fight me.
I haven't seen it,
I am a
but
I am a
also, like,
Cats
wow.
fan. I am a Cats fan.
All right, let's just move away from that. I don't want to talk about
Okay,
that.
but yeah, like I feel like that's the thing.
At least they had beautiful ghosts.
Yes, Taylor Swift.
But yeah, like I feel like it also just because the moment I rewatched it like a few weeks ago, I started noticing all the crazy plot holes, and eventually started building up to the point where it's like I actually can't watch this anymore because I can't follow anything. Like,
Yeah.
where does Palpatine come from? Where are the Star Destroyers? Why does Rey not detect where Chewie is, even though she supposedly killed her?
And she's supposed to be more powerful than like
Than
literally
every other
everyone.
Jedi, yeah.
Why does Palpatine say,
I love
I
Mando.
want you to kill me
Yeah.
so I can transfer into your body? So Rey ends up doing the weirdest. So Rey's like, no, you kill yourself. I'm gonna tell you the same thing Mace Windu did. And this is the funniest thing. Palpatine is like, you should remember,
Exactly.
you did this before.
Yeah.
You've been horribly deformed. If Anakin did not intervene, Mace Windu
You would
would
have
have
died.
killed you right
Yeah.
there and
Exactly.
then.
Yeah.
So, no, he's Rey.
I should probably stop doing this.
You see Rey hold 2 lightsabers up,
Yeah.
and he's
Luke and Leia's, which is
It's
supposed to be
like-
symbolic.
it's like I might as well choose it because I did the Force Storm.
I'm going to I'm just going to throw in something like nice after.
Wow.
Wow.
I will say this.
Okay.
I'm very, very, very happy that they got Hayden Christensen to do a line.
Yes.
I was about
I'm so
to say
happy, and I'm very happy that
guess.
this line was bring balance to the force as I did, because for the longest time,
did.
yeah, for the longest time people were like, Lucas has chosen one, blah blah, but in reality, it really
No,
was,
it was
it was still
Anakin.
Anakin at the end because
It was always
there were
Anakin.
too many Jedi.
Yeah.
So he killed all the Jedi, and now there are only like 1 Jedi, 1 Sith. Hey, it's even, you know, and
Exactly.
that's genuinely how I feel like. So I'm so happy that they confirmed that, and there's a lot of canon stuff that they did confirm. They confirmed Darth Revan's real.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
confirmed Plagueis is a real character.
Yeah.
Like, so there's a lot of like Sith lore that's integrated. Not really smoothly, because Plagueis apparently allows you to suck the life out of other people,
That's from
which is
KOTOR.
yeah, which is like because Plagueis was this. For context, Plagueis was a Sith that unlocked the secrets to eternal life.
Yeah.
Right, which is why it explains why Palpatine was able to live long enough. It's just that they never
They
explained
never
it.
explained it, no.
And speaking of that scene with Anakin and all the Force
Ghosts.
Jedi, did you hear or read na they actually some of them actually shot live action
yeah.
clips of that,
I think
but
Freddie
they
Prinze
decided
Jr.
not
did,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
As like this character from Rebels. I can't remember what his name is.
But like, I guess we'll see a deleted scene kasi may footage nila eh.
Release the Abrams cut.
What Abrams cut? This
That
is
was the Abrams cut.
Release the Johnson cut. It's just a different movie. Also, these 3 characters were like the most underused, underwritten,
Okay.
and they were
Okay.
amazing.
Okay,
I feel
I
like
guess
I
we're
need to
going
get
to
into
into
this
new
now.
character territory.
No, okay, because Finn was my absolute favorite in The Force Awakens. The idea of like a stormtrooper
rogue
turning
stormtrooper.
good was just fantastic, and the clear narrative for that was like for any basic writer would be that he would become a Jedi.
Yes.
Because how fantastic would that be, diba? That
I mean, he was trying to tell Ray,
Yeah.
right?
Oh my god.
I mean, that's a
love you.
Force
It was-
sensitive.
yeah. That's a whole
So annoying.
narrative in the movie where Finn was like, Ray, I have to tell you something.
And you set him up in the first film that he holds
Yeah.
a lightsaber.
Uh-huh.
And I think it's just a really good message to younger people that even if you did bad things growing up, like there's still a chance for you to change. Which I think, like, since the audience of Star Wars is generally the younger people,
Yes.
I always think that those messages should be like at the forefront of the films. And they did him so dirty for 3 films. Yeah, exactly. That's all he was doing. And this guy
And
is
even
a fantastic
even John
actor.
Boyega was shading all of it on Twitter.
Exactly. John Boyega shading Raylo stance is also the best thing to ever happen on the
He
internet.
does not care about anything anymore. as soon
And
as
so did
Chelsea
Oscar
gets-
Isaac.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's like the interview, right, where he was
Yeah.
like, "You ever play your character in a Disney Plus film?" He's like, "No."
Not unless they make him gay.
Yeah, he would really.
A true ally, Oscar
True
Isaac.
ally.
It was
Yeah.
perfect. It was so perfectly
They,
set up.
they set up an entire like romance between Finn.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just like no. never
They,
mind.
they have more chemistry than like Rey and Kylo Ren or Poe and like Zori Bliss
Ay,
or
nako.
Finn with
Oh, you-
I don't even remember
Jana,
her name. I'm
Jana.
so sorry.
Her name's
but yeah.
Jana.
What?
Jana.
Jana. Okay.
And or
Jana
Supposed to be the
Calrissian.
daughter- yeah, supposed to be the daughter of Lando. That's
But
like
people were
Jana.
taking it the wrong way, right? They were
No,
like,
the way it was done in the movie, it looked like he was hitting on
yun
her.
nga, yun
Yeah,
nga.
it's
So weird.
Pero
Hey.
ako kasi I read some bit of it na theories
Good for
saying
you.
na yun nga. So that's how and the book did confirm that, sadly, that it came from the book na
Yeah.
Lando's family was taken away or something
God,
at some
shut
point in
up.
time.
But also why would you why
J.K. Rowling.
yeah, like why would you even include that in this movie?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's just for
yeah.
future Disney Plus spin-offs,
And that
like
was-
Lando and Jana having fun in the galaxy.
Again, to put a brand,
Sorry,
I'm
it
trying
sounded so bad.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard because I realized I've been hating on this entire time after saying that I think I like it a lot more.
I know.
No, but
it's
like
so
one of
funny.
the things I
Dren's
did-
like a yo-yo in this
one of
episode.
the things I really did, and I'm so torn because I love it so much. Star Wars, I mean, but this movie. The introduction of Lando was probably my favorite part in the whole movie.
Where he just takes off his mask.
Yeah, where he takes off his mask and they have this talk. It's well written dialogue. It doesn't
That's
feel
true.
awkward. And I could buy in that he was a spy, investigating with Luke. That's cool. That's interesting.
And then
The
he
whole
does
the
nothing
whole
else.
thing like fire festival in the planet's kind of like whatever, I
God.
guess.
That was a really cool planet though, Pasana.
And then
Ang
they
ganda
come
ng-
to
There's this theory that like Rey is just probably high on drugs on that planet the whole time. Just imagine everything that
Yeah.
happened. Kaya ganun kakalat.
with
then
the
they
colors.
They cut to the chase of the stormtroopers, and Rey never uses the Force once. Doesn't
I
pull out a
know.
lightsaber. Decides to bring out a pistol and start shooting at them. And then Poe has Finn has a line that's like, "They fly now." And he was
Yeah,
like,
weren't you a stormtrooper?
oh my god, they literally have flying stormtroopers in the prequel trilogy. Jesus Christ.
well, he wasn't
So-
alive.
Oh my
Yeah, I know it's been a while.
Yeah, but the technology's there. What
And then
is
as an ex stormtrooper, you probably know what like
Yeah,
other
they're
stormtroopers.
probably jetpacks somewhere.
Jetpacks when I defended.
Yeah.
no,
funny.
Kylo Ren catches a bolt, a laser bolt in the first and a Force Awakens, and he never does it again.
I know.
Never shows that level of power even close to that ever again. It's just
Speaking of that lightning thing, I hate that you find out that Rey is a Palpatine because
Oh.
she can do that lightning thing when they established in the prequels that anyone can do it so long as you're force sensitive.
to all the
Yeah.
Star Wars fans out there, Luke could do that. So you know
Yeah,
that that's not
yeah,
right.
yeah.
He doesn't want
Yes,
to.
he doesn't. He chooses
Right?
not to.
I don't understand.
And then, oh my God, sorry. Then they
I think you hate this movie, Dan. I think you actually hate it.
Ray at the end of the film pulls out a
This whole
yellow lightsaber.
From that dual staff.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
supposed
it's from her
it's supposed to be
staff.
from her staff. But that means because the way that Jedi's make their own sabers, they get a kyber crystal from the Jedi Temple to make their lightsabers. Oh my God! The Jedi Temple is destroyed. It's established. It's destroyed. Okay, cool. So where the did she get that crystal? It's supposed to be like an artificial crystal, but you're telling me that it just conveniently happened to be
Maybe
the
she
staff?
found it in that Death Star.
Kill me.
In the midst of all that.
Speaking of Rey, Dark Rey did appear for like 5
Ay,
seconds.
nako.
What a tease! That's such a tease. And no, yeah, and she had shark teeth. What the heck?
We've been new, like the first
Yeah,
time.
I knew it was gonna be
it was
that.
gonna
Have
be
you guys
one
seen
of those
the
things.
gif of like her doing the second saber and then like it's like Swiss Army
So, I mean,
knife?
it was so good. To be fair, we got good memes out of it.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
You knew it was going to be like
True,
that
true.
anyway.
Like-
if it didn't, that's when I'd be like,
And
this
the
is
Knights of
essentially-
Ren just
Yeah.
being there.
Oh my
just to
God,
be
who
like,
were they even? Who were the Knights of Ren
I hate
at
that
all?
J.J. Abrams was were hyping them
Yeah,
up so
yeah,
much. Like,
yeah.
oh, we didn't use the Knights of Ren enough
Yeah.
in like all the films.
epi-
and we need to use
in
them
episode
now.
7, there's supposed to be other Padawans that followed Kylo Ren.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah.
No, you want I specifically remember one interview where he was like, "Hey, you guys remember the martial artists from the raid from Indonesia? We hired them to be that."
Yeah.
that. And he was like,
Oh my
"Yo,
God.
There's gonna be this crazy fight scene. Here's Kylo Ren
as
killing
Ben.
everyone in 5 minutes.
Yeah, in a t-shirt.
With a
Oh my
plastic
god.
Sweater naman.
Yeah, whatever.
Offense
Does
that
not
they
look
get
very
on
Star
him is-
Warsy.
Before
It
he
did
gets
not. It
Saber.
looked so normal.
Yeah,
Once he
it's
gets the
very
saber, it's
marriage
over.
story.
And it's cool because I will say it's cool that he gets Anakin's saber. That's cool seeing
Yeah.
Kylo Ren holding Anakin's
Yeah.
saber.
Yeah.
But whatever, I guess.
It's whatever.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then like in the final battle, he sort of gets knocked into a pit, and then like,
He just comes
yeah,
back.
he just disappears.
And also, they do that thing where I know I like that you really like Rogue One, but one of the things that really bothered me was that Darth Vader makes puns. And the Emperor,
Oh, yeah.
and the Emperor does the same thing where it's like, I fell, so you fall. Haha, it's funny. It's ironic.
He sounds like a Batman villain.
And then he just climbs out of the hole and he's like, oh, I can transfer my life into you. But doesn't that mean she can do that? Oh, no, he's dead. Okay, let's just
Yeah, he just died like
Yun
super
nga eh.
fast.
Yeah.
let's just make out real quick.
Ay, nako.
Oh my god. Ito
Let's
na,
talk
ito
about
na,
that.
ito
Let's
na,
talk
ito
about
na.
that. Okay, go.
No, this is like no.
Oh, no, are we going into that?
Yeah, let's go into
Yeah,
that.
we are.
So, I feel like there's one thing I could suggest to make that scene marginally better. So, does everyone remember the scene in Endgame where before Hawkeye and Black Widow fight over who gets to commit suicide for the
Yes.
Soul Stone? They have this thing
Why you
where
gotta bring this up? It's so sad.
okay, so before like they try to kill themselves, they have this moment where they
They're just- yeah.
they touch foreheads.
Oh yeah,
If they did that
That's
here
true.
instead of the kiss,
Yeah.
I feel
Rogue
like
One.
yeah.
Sort of
Oh, no, yeah, like-
Rogue
Like in
One,
Roman, they hugged. Yeah.
yeah, or if you literally did anything like that, instead of directly confirming that Raylo exists,
Yeah.
which is like,
Fancy
wow.
dress.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, is that like you could have literally just done either of those things. Just do the headbutt or do the
Yeah.
and that would have been like made more sense because it felt like Raylo that came out of nowhere. And I don't buy into the romance thing. I feel like
Yeah.
I buy into like they have this emotional connection.
Yes.
I agree.
Because Last Jedi built that.
Yes,
up
yes.
way.
But it was never romantic.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
have a mutual understanding of what we feel, but that doesn't necessarily.
And what we are
Yeah.
together.
Characters are consistent in Last
Yeah.
Jedi.
And that I'm not saying that because I'm both these romantic, but
It's nice
This
for the
is
viewers
gross.
to know.
I mean, because like I don't like it when they're like when it feels like it's a shoehorned romance.
Oh no, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I Hulk and Black Widow.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Age of
god, no,
Ultron.
that is
Okay,
completely
no,
a different
no,
conversation
no,
I
no.
will get into.
no, okay. But it's
You
like
just hear screaming.
it
You
just
leave
feels
the room and you say
shoehorned.
screaming outside.
It just feels shoehorned. Next.
Yeah.
Pero, I mean, yeah.
I think that the thing I hated the most about this film, and this is saying a lot because obviously there's a, I know,
There's a lot of things
is
to hate
that
about this
is that
film.
J.J. Abrams didn't respect Rian Johnson as director. He
Uh-huh.
straight up
Didn't,
didn't respect
yeah.
him. I don't care what franchise this is from. I don't care if this is Indiana Jones or Harry Potter or the Marvel Universe. You respect what the last person
True,
made.
true.
And he literally had scenes that were in your face. The counter, like literally the opposite.
Yeah, yeah.
of what he
The
did.
part
Like,
where Luke-
catches
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you don't disrespect this Jedi's weapon.
Yeah, it's like what?
Yeah.
Everything's really just like to appease everyone who got mad
It's
over
about
The Last Jedi.
Everything that was in the last.
They decided
Jedi.
to appease like a few thousand fans on the internet rather than the people
like-
that
Yeah,
actually paid
yeah.
money to see Last
You
Jedi.
didn't like Rose? Okay, she's here for like 10 minutes.
Please.
That's
Justice for Rose,
Yeah, that's
indeed.
that's the rebuttal that feels the grossest because of knowing what Kelly Marie Tran had to go through
Yes.
in terms of being chased off social media,
Yes.
and now she gets a drastically reduced role where she does nothing. Like the Dominic Monaghan character, which I don't know why he's there, like had more of a role
Because he
than-
won a bet.
and he wasn't
between-
lost. So yeah.
yeah.
Sure.
May bet sila ni JJ na if this soccer team won or lost.
Are you serious?
He would go to
This is
Star
not the
Wars.
time to
Yeah.
be treating your friends, JJ. God.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, Hux was completely wasted. And Dominic Gleeson's a
Man, I
Yeah.
like what they were doing with Hux, but then they just dispensed him too quickly. I mean,
Right? He was the spy. That was great.
I thought that was
And
yeah.
okay.
And then bam, dead.
I like this new general guy, the new British guy.
Yeah, Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, he was good.
He has like this cropped up arm. I like.
Yeah.
Oh, and speaking of JJ, okay, so this is another thing I remember. JJ, I remember, got offered to do all three movies
Oh,
in
thank
this
God he
trilogy,
didn't.
and I feel like that would have given him a consistent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
I do think it would have been better. The third movie might have been not as good given his track record, but it probably would have been better. This is
It
what
was
yeah.
consistent.
I as much as I love the eighth movie and like dislike the ninth, I will say that the ninth film, though the thing that makes me the saddest, like most disappointed, is that it just doesn't come together as a trilogy. It just makes you
Exactly.
not like
Yeah.
the trilogy as a whole.
Yeah.
It's probably the worst Like it's like worse than the Hobbit movies because the Hobbit at least they made sense.
Yeah.
You know, these movies literally try to contradict each other.
Yeah.
It's like two hands on the steering wheel and they just end up crashing into a
It feels like
tree.
they were all made as a response to each other. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, like Force Awakens felt like, okay, you didn't like all the controversial stuff we did during the prequels.
Yeah, yeah,
Here's
yeah.
an intentional throwback
It's
to
alright.
like the prequels. And then Last Jedi was like, okay, you remember that fan service? Here's no fan service.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Rise of Skywalker was like, here's everything that we're embracing that Last Jedi sort of
Didn't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say it's really like a the war between fans
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
Disney, Lucasfilm, or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on.
Because
Disney.
like, why would you give in to what the fans want just
Yeah.
because they made all this noise on the internet?
Yeah, it's just not
Yeah.
very good. Like, I
Like,
mean,
you're-
Like principles.
as an artist, like that's a terrible process.
You're not
like, if
putting
just-
your foot down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if the way if you write stories or whatever is to just take suggestions from like a whole bunch of different people and try to cram them into a movie, that's not authentic. That's
Yeah.
not creative, really,
Yeah.
for me. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
And ultimately,
They didn't want to
show
take a
what
risk
they-
now with this
yeah.
last movie. I mean,
And it supposedly it didn't do that well, like in China Land, where
Yeah.
they're really trying
Yes,
to
yeah.
take
I
the
don't think
market.
Because they
Star Wars
realized
is
that,
really famous in China,
no, but
though.
But Last Jedi did very well
Yeah,
in
it
China.
did.
In China.
And if you watch, this is gonna sound completely unrelated, but I swear I have a point. Dwayne Johnson, he's had like multiple movies like Rampage and
Yeah.
things like that have done very, very well, but they do very poorly domestically, and it's because they make like $200 million in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the Hollywood's starting to realize, oh, we have to actually expand our content because, you know, movies are getting more expensive and people aren't gonna go watch just any old movie. So we have to literally hit more markets, get more people
Yeah.
to watch.
China just happens to be one
Yes,
of the Runs.
exactly, because China's like maybe the second biggest like film market right now. And so if you observe, like again, The Last Jedi did very well in China, maybe not as well in America, but it still made $1.3 billion as compared to Force Awakens, which made over $2 billion. So obviously that's a gigantic loss.
Yeah.
But if you look at Rise of Skywalker, it made less than $1 billion. So it
Yeah.
somehow made even less. So if you just stopped your guns, it would have
Yeah,
still at least made
yeah.
like $1.5 billion.
And the weird thing is, like, didn't they have just like a plan for the whole
It
thing?
felt
Na parang,
like it wasn't planned at
yeah.
all. Which
I
is
mean,
very
if you
strange for
have
Disney.
Marvel
Exactly, like, you
having
plan for 10
a
years.
22 movie, 23 movie,
Spans 11 years.
yeah, and then
Right?
this it's just 3 years, and they knew each one was
Was
gonna
coming,
happen.
yeah.
So parang,
Is it-
what,
They even
how?
had a great plan to give themselves time to make the movies because they
Exactly.
Rogue One and
Diba?
Solo, yeah.
You make these spin-offs every other year so that
And
you
then-
can
yeah,
have more
yeah.
time to
Really
write
smart,
it.
yeah.
Like,
But I guess a lot of things happened in between then that affected this. I mean,
there was
sorry,
the whole
go.
thing
Tries
where-
to
They had
Star
the whole
Wars.
thing where director is like, so it was when JJ decided he didn't want to do all three movies that he decided to bring Rian Johnson. And I can't remember the name of the director, but it was one of the guys who did one of the Godzilla movies, the recent ones, who were supposed
Kong?
to do,
Or Godzilla King of Monsters.
Colin.
I know Jurassic World.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be the guy who directed episode 9, but because of either scheduling or creative differences,
I think the passing of Carrie Fisher kasi
Yeah.
affected
yeah.
his
The plan.
decision on
Yeah.
this.
And
Kasi-
so that's why they got JJ back.
Yeah.
That's why it feels like a bit flat. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not like he didn't have enough time.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like we mentioned a while ago, like the argument that Rise of Skywalker was only bad because parang JJ didn't have enough to work with, which is so dumb because
He has a whole
like
world.
I feel like the way Ryan Johnson ends Last Jedi is just it's full of possibility. pa rin.
Open-ended pa rin
Like
siya.
I mean, he just destroyed the Jedi Sith dichotomy.
There's so much you could do with
Exactly,
it.
and there's such a bigger galaxy than just like
Than
these
just
random
them, right?
characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Exactly.
crazy the lengths that people would do to excuse J.J. Abrams' like lack of. It's not again like he's super skilled. You can tell that. Again, Emil mentioned a while ago the Star Trek
movies are
fantastic.
great, yeah.
So what happened was that it's just a matter of like principle. It's not a matter of skill anymore. It's like what he chose to do.
Yeah.
Was to run back on everything. That
Malay mo, he knew that these movies maybe weren't that good, but he just thought to himself, but I just need to please that certain, that I've done my
Audience.
job, which is very sad.
Yeah.
And it didn't even pay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
literally.
Aha.
So, you know.
Meanwhile, Ryan Johnson made Knives Out, which made a ton of money.
Knives Out.
So-
It was his first project after
After Star
The Last
Wars,
Jedi.
And it's like maybe the biggest surprise of last year. It was incredible.
I think that was my favorite
So
film
much
of
fun.
2019.
It was so much fun.
And they didn't really reveal anything kasi prior to the movie actually being there, so you don't really know what
Everyone
to
was
expect.
like, "What is this?"
They had a great marketing though, like Martha Stewart
And
with the knives
Yeah,
and
that's right.
everything.
It's like a giant middle finger because people were like, "Oh, Rian Johnson's such a bad director." It's like, hello, like.
No, people were criticizing him for being a bad writer. Now he's an Oscar-nominated writer for that movie. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
so, shut
In
up.
your face, TLJ haters.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure they don't.
I hope you're happy with your random Exegol
I'm
fan
pretty sure they
service.
don't care.
Fuck no, pal.
It's very funny because you could tell that most of the people who like The Rise of Skywalker did not like
The Last Jedi. Each post about the Rise of Skywalker was like, oh, way better than The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
They always had to bring it back and put it in everyone's
Exactly.
face that they did not
And
like
it's like whenever they
The Last
criticize it, there's
Jedi.
always something about that's not really part of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, but in the canon looks like this. Like, that's not part of the movie. If
But
you thought-
speaking of
yeah.
possibilities, like there was a leaked script or leaked
Yes.
rundown
The
for
original.
Like an outline, yeah.
Yeah, it was called Duels of
Duel
the
of the
Fates.
Fates, yeah.
Duel of the Fates. And let me read the crawl. It's here.
Oh, okay.
So this is Colin Trevorrow's vision for episode
Okay.
9. Well,
Okay, okay.
because each Star Wars of the new trilogy was meant to be like a feature movie for one of
Yes.
the legacy characters. Like
Yes.
the
Yeah,
first one was
exactly.
about Han.
Han, yeah.
And
Second
then
one about
Luke,
Luke.
and
This
then
one was
supposed to be Leia.
about
Leia,
Leia.
okay.
But with Carrie's passing, they really couldn't like
Yeah.
do anything about that on his end. So he decided to let go of the project. But anyway, I'm gonna read this. Who wants to read this? Ako
Have
na
a
lang.
cough.
I can try.
Okay, sige.
Try.
Dren has a really nice voice, so
Oh,
we
thank
can
you.
read it. Nasaan na ba yan?
Let's go.
Ito na siya.
Pam, para pa 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 pam, para pa 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 pa.
It's like coughing.
Tita, tilita.
Ba't nawala?
Wala siya.
Boo.
It's the wrong link.
Hindi, ito yun. Binabasa ko siya kanina eh.
Blah.
I like that there are
Fins.
SpongeBob stands here.
Here. Okay.
Quote like
Okay.
Anyhow,
In a galaxy,
Anyhow, yes, it's legit.
a long time ago, in a galaxy far,
A
far
long
away.
time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, the iron grip of the First Order has spread to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Only a few scattered planets remain unoccupied. Traitorous acts are punishable by death. Determined to suffocate a growing unrest, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren has silenced all communication between neighboring systems. Led by General Leia Organa, the Resistance has planned a secret mission to prevent their annihilation and forge a path to freedom. That sounds way more interesting!
Then the whole Palpatine.
Yeah.
Well, basically,
See, even that, like, for me, it doesn't give away Palpatine or anything. You could have a really cool intro where Kylo Ren just hears this voice in his head.
Yeah.
You're not sure who it is. It has that epic montage in the beginning.
there's a
Yeah, it's
voice I
really cool montage,
hear
by the way.
inside my
Stop it, Disney chill.
And then you have this really cool thing where, like, he does this thing where he's hunting a guy, then out of the shadows comes Palpatine. Then I would have been like, that's a
That's
cool,
cool.
intro.
Instead of using the crawl to explain everything.
The dead speak.
Not
Oh, God.
explain.
From what I read,
Welcome to the
from,
Sith podcast.
from what I read from the leaks, then like the idea was that originally Palpatine wasn't supposed to be in
There
the
was
ninth
no
movie.
bigger bad.
Yeah, it was really
just
supposed to be
Kylo Ren
and
versus
then
the rest of the
like
world.
Which is great.
yeah, from what I read, like the reveal was that Rey's parents are still nobodies, but it's revealed that Kylo Ren is the one who killed Rey's parents.
That's so interesting, and that's why they would have a
Yeah,
connection. That's
and like so it doesn't redeem him, and even Adam Driver doesn't think Ben
my
needed
God, he's so
redemption.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
His redemption, by the way, is just his dad showing up again and going like, "Hey, man, that's not cool."
yeah.
And it's like, this isn't the Force. Yeah, it's your memory. What?
Yeah, let's forget about the fact that he
And
like blew
this-
up 2 planets.
God.
And
So-
this
He's a
version,
master genocidal dude.
the younglings.
The younglings.
Which is Richard's favorite part about the prequels,
Oh my
by
God.
the
The
way.
younglings.
Killing the younglings.
What are we
Why
doing
is
to do?
My favorite part of the prequels is I hate sand.
Of course, it gets
everywhere.
Rey buries Anakin Skywalker's lightsabers on Tatooine.
Yeah.
In the sand.
By the way, how does she even know that? Like, there's so much.
Because she's a Star Wars fan. She watched the movie.
Right behind Luke and Leia's Force Ghost.
Yeah.
Anakin
Oh, okay,
on
yeah.
the
It'll be-
ground,
yeah.
pounding the dirt.
I would literally have redeemed this entire movie if after she says Ray who? Ray Skywalker.
Can we-
back and Luke's like, no.
Stop it! Make it stop!
That was kind of random na for me,
Yeah.
that last
Yeah,
line.
let's talk about that ending because I remember when we watched it, like right before they cut to Tatooine, the last scene. I was thinking to myself, wait, so why is this movie called The Rise of Skywalker? And then
And
they show
then
they
that
show on
happened.
as soon as they showed Tatooine, in my head I was like, oh my god, don't do this.
Yes.
And then that rando like Tatooine person is like, what's who are you? Number one, why would you ask
Why
that?
would you ask,
And then she
right?
says Ray, and then she says Ray who? Why would you ask a stranger that?
Maya, Maya.
Mysterio.
Yeah.
She just touched him.
Yeah. Yung favorite meme ko is she says Ray Star Wars.
Directed by Gigi.
Would have been better.
Yeah.
God,
But that's-
it would've been
Wouldn't it have been more powerful if you just said, I'm just Ray?
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
It's one of the worst. That's one of the worst like last lines I've ever seen.
And
Also
that-
because it backtracks on its own sort of message. Because like if the message is trying to be Rey can sort of choose her
whoever,
destiny,
yeah.
despite her being a Palpatine, she should just own her being a Palpatine
Palpatine.
Right.
instead of
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
like
expected
rejecting all that. She didn't. I don't think. I'm sure she trained with Leia and
Yeah,
Luke,
yay.
but
Like,
I don't think she deserves
minutes.
like the name
To get the
Skywalker.
It
name.
wasn't like they were there nodding.
Baka naman Ben was part of her and
No,
like,
he wasn't there.
By the way,
He also
I
was
was
not
expect-
deserving of the
That's
Skywalker.
true.
it would have been perfect if somehow Ben tries to redeem himself at the end, like his idol Anakin did.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he's the rise of Skywalker because he manages to redeem the name of
The Skywalker
I
name
would've
again.
Been, yeah, I would have been
Right?
fine
Yeah,
with
that would've been better.
And it would have been like, oh, the Skywalkers are just cursed with like I don't know, just kind of
bad writing.
Another generation.
Yeah, it's just like, oh god, you know.
Which is good, like they're all dead now, I guess.
Yeah.
There's no more.
By the way,
Skywalker.
there's imbalance again in the Force because all
There
the
is
Sith
an
literally
imbalance of the
won
Force
it.
again.
There's this whole thing where it's like all the Jedi live me. I was like, is this Legend of Aang? What is this?
Avatar na pala
Shout
siya.
out to Legend.
I swear to God, me and me and Emma's mutual friend, Rain, we have this. For some reason, we have this shared memory of when they're doing all the voiceovers, like bring balance to the Force, blah blah blah. I swear to God, there's a voice that goes, Ray? It's like he's not sure, and it made us laugh so much. And we looked around, it's like, did nobody else hear that?
I
There's
don't
one guy
remember
that was like, Ray? It's like he's not sure, and it's so funny because I'm pretty sure it's Ewan McGregor, and he's like, Ray?
Hello there.
So funny. I'm super excited for the Obi-Wan.
Yes!
That's probably the one I'm most
I
excited
am
for.
Kenobi stan.
Oh god, here we
But that's a scary thing kasi as compared to The Mandalorian, for example, it has so much
Tied into the
history
Yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, and be careful.
Right.
Obi-Wan's supposed to be like the purest of the Jedi. Like he never felt an ounce of temptation in his life. So I'm really interested
Nah,
in
I'm-
what he's doing.
Jesus, guy.
I'm nervous because like Obi-Wan's my favorite character overall.
Me too.
So and like I love Ewan McGregor in that role talaga, but I mean given how Disney has been like how they've not been planning like the
Yes.
main legacy movies and Obi-Wan is definitely a legacy character. I'm very scared.
I don't
so.
know why like Ewan McGregor really enjoys like crashing into these franchises because he did Beauty and the Beast, he was in Winnie the Pooh, and now he's doing Star Wars again. It's like he's going back to a lot of stuff. Why doesn't he just do something like Trainspotting, which is like my favorite movie?
He did a sequel to Trainspotting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also good. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not mad about that. Then he also did Moulin Rouge, and then suddenly he's just like, let's go Hollywood.
Yeah, he's in Doctor Sleep also. The Shining
He's in
sequel.
everything.
Although I did really like Doctors.
Yeah,
I did too.
underrated. He is.
Yes,
he is. He is. Black Mask.
Villain
Yeah.
in Birds of Prey. So MCU na lang. And that's it.
Oh, that would be dope. I
Yeah.
would.
As Obi-Wan.
So, just walking there with a lightsaber.
Yeah,
I would be
sure.
down.
It's
Yeah,
an
screw it,
endgame
let's just do it.
moment with
Yeah, let's just-
all.
Out of a portal, just Obi-Wan
Yeah.
I
Kenobi.
know, God, there was also an endgame moment in
Yeah,
Ross.
in
Yeah.
Ross.
Ships came
That
in,
felt
and
so
this is
random.
Exactly like Endgame.
And I felt nothing. I just
Yeah.
felt
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah.
Because with Endgame, there was a build up to that moment.
And
that was from another
Why
movie.
would people show up at that moment? They're like, hey guys, for real this time. We got this.
That was funny because I felt like that was a response to how, remember in that last planet,
Last Jedi.
in the Last Jedi, where it's like, we need help.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No idea what planet that is, by the way.
And they suddenly
Everyone can go to Exegol now.
Yeah.
and they suddenly brought that back in
No, they
in
sent
some
the
part of
Orcas. They did
Tross.
try to
Yeah,
send
yeah.
them
Like at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, here's everyone. It felt like a
Yeah.
response.
Yeah,
Lando
but
shows up with Chewbacca.
I feel like
Money
that
shot.
moment is
Yeah.
also like minalas lang dahil in the same year Endgame came out and that was such a big
I don't
moment.
think so. I really just don't think it was built up well.
Yeah.
Well, true.
There's just zero consequences also because like, hey, by the way, the girl that was supposed to leave Poe Dameron just shows up because she
Yeah.
suddenly grows a heart.
Yeah.
Which was very. I guess they were making her like Han in the first.
This movie has
film,
no-
But it just
Yeah.
wasn't built up
It had no time
This
to
movie has no
build the
integrity.
characters
It has
up.
no
But no, I
integrity.
agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this movie was very afraid of consequences.
Yeah,
Like,
it's-
nothing.
they're trying
There
to
were
walk it
no
back.
consequences
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a movie that exists to restore status quo for this franchise. When
Sadly
we don't
enough.
even need it. We don't
Yeah.
need that status quo anymore.
Who are those people that want like, no, this is my Star Wars, I don't want you to touch it.
A lot of
So many
a lot of people.
So
a lot of
many.
people.
It's like 50,000 compared to like the million that actually want something
Exactly.
new.
True. The fans of the new trilogy talaga.
It's a vocal minority. Also, I feel like the specific Endgame moment made it feel like it was Endgame for me was like when they say I am all the Sith.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I remember we're like here before. I am inevitable.
Yeah, then I am. Which, by the way, sorry, that
And
line,
I am Rey
that line
Skywalker.
makes no freaking
makes no
sense.
freaking sense.
Why would you say that?
And yet I cried many tears.
No,
And
gets,
yeah,
gets.
I did love a lot of this, but that's not how good Endgame is, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it is whack that Endgame is like this culmination of everything Marvel has done
Yes.
for over 11 years. And it's released the same year as Star Wars, like Episode
Game of
9.
Thrones.
Which, you know what? Episode 9, which is supposed to be the culmination
Of
of
like 40
9
years.
Yeah, like 40 years.
40 years of history,
Yeah.
and Marvel pulls that off in 10 years when
Yeah.
Star Wars
Yeah.
like sort of earned in 40.
I
Yeah.
love
Yeah.
how every podcast I do with you always ends up in Marvel.
True.
You
Sorry.
can never escape Marvel.
Yeah.
And speaking of 40 years, this year is the 40th year of Empire Strikes Back.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. 1980.
Fun fact, Empire Strikes Back, when it first came out, it was really hated. Like, everyone hated it. It was by far the most hated of the original trilogy. And now it's like, most people, I would say that a good 50% of the fandom would say Empire is the best
It's the
one.
best,
And then like
yeah.
another 30% would probably say A New Hope. There's a good number of people that say Rogue One. There's a good number of people that say... sorry, not a good number. There's like a small percentage that say Rogue One. There's a small
Last
percentage
Jedi.
that say Last Jedi.
Last Jedi.
Those are the four, yeah.
No, but yeah. I
But
think-
majority would say, I think.
To be fair, I think the original trilogy and this new one kind of followed like that same pattern.
Yeah.
Everyone really loved the first one that came
Yeah.
out.
The
Super
second
mixed
one.
bag for the second one, and then
the last one is just like... It's like somehow lower
yeah,
than what
for
they did
some
with-
reason.
Yeah.
I guess we'll just have to see how this ages, if it does age well or not.
Because like Last Jedi aged
Yeah.
well.
Yun
It's
nga, I
still
mean,
being talked about.
If you're,
now.
I mean,
Right.
what Dren was mentioning the Empire Strikes Back. So I mean,
Yes,
In the future.
yeah, in the
Yeah.
future,
So
how
we'll
this
see.
whole thing. So it's still early on-ish in this timeline.
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess
There's another timeline?
there are multiple timelines.
Oh no.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh wait, what is it?
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Thank you, Doctor Strange.
Oh, Crisis. DC? It's all
Yeah.
DC.
Okay.
I still haven't watched that.
I only
Oh,
watched
shit.
like the no.
The
Cameo.
Ezra.
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I only watched the cameos because there's just too much to get.
Yeah.
Ezra Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess do we still have more feelings about this?
I feel
I
like
would, yeah.
I guess that's
I
just
think generally we just have feelings.
yeah. I mean, I guess before we end our discussion, I guess let's just talk about Princess Leia a bit. I mean, we
Okay.
barely
Oh, yeah.
touched upon
That's
her
true.
passing on this film and Carrie's legacy, of course.
Well, her passing on
Yeah.
made no sense to me.
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
film.
yeah, yeah.
In real life, it makes
It also still doesn't make sense. Like death is just like
yeah.
I don't get it.
But you know, like you accept it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just remembered
It-
something about Leia. Do you remember how they have that flashback in like when she and Luke are training, and she has the vision that says, "Oh, I have to stop because I feel like something bad."
Yeah,
is
when I
gonna
become a
happen to my
Jedi,
son."
that means my son's gonna die.
And does he not tell this to Luke, who eventually gets a vision saying, "My nephew's gonna do something messed
They're
up.
all, yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to cut him."
There's no
Yeah.
communication in this family. It's very clear.
Talk it out, guys. Talk it out.
Yun nga yung curse of Skywalker. They're badly written.
I feel like I got cut my nephew despite the fact that I'm willing to forgive my dad, who was literal space
Yeah.
Hitler.
Yeah.
And like,
Darth Vader
it's
literally
like,
killed like
and Luke's like,
90% of the galaxy.
oh wait, I maybe shouldn't kill my nephew
Yeah.
while I'm holding
No,
my
but that's
life.
like-
God, it's such a cool. It's
I
such
do
a
love
cool
that scene though because
yeah.
It shows
would
the,
happen.
ano,
It's just human,
yeah, yeah.
right?
It shows
You
he's
get
flawed.
scared.
It shows he's
Yeah,
flawed.
but I don't know. It just feels like it's weird because like she has this vision and it's like, oh, something bad's gonna happen to my son.
God.
Oh wait, is that probably something related to do with the fact
Yeah.
that I killed my nephew?
Everyone's obsessed with everyone wants Luke to be Jesus, but he's supposed to be flawed. He's supposed to be very flawed. The only thing, I mean, everything was fine. You can tell that they did everything with Leia in CG because there's no way a script con would allow. There's a scene where Leia's eyeline is completely off. Like she's not looking at Rey, she's like looking into the distance. Blind person.
Yeah.
And it's jeez. Like you can tell that they did it with CG.
They did what they could.
It was okay. It was alright. It was supposed to be the final thing, but it was alright. And
Pero sobrang emotional that part where Rey hugged Leia when she was about to leave. I was like semi-crying.
you could tell it was a complete.
I mean,
Yung may parts na kamay lang yung lumalabas eh.
They tried to do the same thing. Like
they do so much OTS. They do so much OTS for her. No, they didn't want to do the thing they did with Paul Walker because with Paul Walker they did CG for like his replacement. For this one, they literally just used unused footage from Force Awakens.
Yeah, they did.
Which made sense with the little amount.
Exactly.
No, and they used Billy Lord as like
as a young Leia, which was really cool and sweet.
But that was very uncanny valley. Luke looked great. And I was so surprised when they took off his mask. Like, oh my god, that looks like Mark Hamill. Then Leia takes off. I was like, oh Jesus.
I got Rogue One PTSD.
Yeah, no, Rogue One. That was the first. Exactly. I thought of that exact scene. And I was like, that does not look like a real person.
I remember Rogue One. I remember being freaked out by that, and I'm like, oh my god, you actually helped Rogue One in that.
Yeah. So I mean, I do think that it would have been fine if they talked about how Leia was supposed to become a Jedi also, and everything. It would have been fine. It's just that there's so much like overwhelming, like it feels like Rey's training becomes a minor plot point when it's supposed to be this major plot point because it's her connection. That's why she's a Skywalker at the end of the film. But there's so much other stuff that they do that it gets overwhelmed. So in a way, I think it's kind of not bastos, but like it's like they almost forgot about Carrie Fisher. And
I was about to ask, do you think this film paid respect to Carrie Fisher's character?
It tried, but it's like the fact that her impact is so completely unfelt in this film. Like it doesn't feel like her saying Skywalker is connected to Leia at all.
Yeah.
When it's supposed to be the main thing, I think, and it doesn't come across in the writing or in the scenes or in the editing. So, no, I don't think they did. So.
I mean,
I feel like the intention was there. It's just that how they executed it felt really old.
And it's hard. I mean, I guess given the footage lang that they have, it's really mostly that than
but
like
would you have
trying
rather
to.
like they just explained that she wasn't there and the film continued on without her?
It's hard to answer.
Yeah,
I wanted to see her.
Yeah, I think I'm more generous with that because
it was a
they shot like a bunch of footage already before she died. So like I feel like they couldn't have just abandoned Leia in general because I think it would have been worse if they just sort of killed her off screen. But like on a positive note in general, like I think one of the best things that the sequel trilogy does is that they turned Leia into a general, not a princess or a queen or whatever. Yeah, because that's great.
True. Very true.
Yeah, especially in Last Jedi when she's barking orders at people and she slaps Poe. Like that's like it's so nice to see like
women
this.
in power.
Yeah, and this is a character who in Return of the Jedi is like sexualized for no reason.
For no reason at all.
I mean, don't tell me Jabba the Hutt. Like that's not a reason.
Shut up.
And then now, like she gets to take on a very sort of masculine role, and it works. So like I enjoy
She's
that.
the most respected person in the
Yeah,
entire.
yeah.
One of my favorite lines in the entire sequel trilogy is when Poe and Leia are arguing, and like they're arguing about what Poe just did, and Poe says. And Leia says, people died out there. And Poe says, heroes. And Leia says, dead heroes.
Ryan Johnson wrote that.
It's such a brilliant line.
Really?
Because, like, Leia's, like, practical. Come on. Not like hotshot Poe, who, by the way, just kind of reverts back into his character. And it's like none of that happens.
Bad.
Doesn't remember anything.
Bad.
Pero guwapo siya.
Oh yeah.
I will say another scene I did like in Rise of Skywalker. It's like a super isolated scene. If you just ignore everything else that happens, is when Poe says to Leia, "I don't know how to do this, and I don't know how you did this."
That was good.
Yeah, because I'm
that
like,
kind of harked back to what happened in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
It's about putting yourself into their position
It's
when
a
they were
difficult
younger. Na
position.
parang, what do I do now?
and it's just like, you know what? No, never mind. I'm just gonna go on the suicide mission that has like 1% chance to work out.
I'm just gonna go jump in an X-wing and blow something up.
Yeah.
So I really wish we could have seen what that third movie with Leia as the lead
As the lead, yeah.
would really look like. Maybe in another timeline we
I
would
don't
have
think
seen
we-
that and are talking about it.
And I don't think we touched this like on the podcast itself, but that scene with Han Solo talking to Kylo Ren at that ship, very clearly was written for Leia. For me, I don't know, but when I was watching it, it felt like this shouldn't have been for.
That was a pleasant surprise.
It was a
though.
pleasant surprise,
Yeah.
but you could tell that
Then
it would have been so
Harrison
much more
Ford,
effective.
that Star Wars.
Yeah.
Get in that cash.
After saying he didn't want to appear na.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So I felt like that's why kulangan ako because like, this is very clearly for
Yeah.
Leia and.
It was her spirit. I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah, it should have been like Jar Jar or something.
He's doing Indiana Jones.
do it.
5, by
Imagine
the way.
if Jar Jar came into this film, though.
He was one of the voices that
Do it! And it's just like, oh my god, and like kind of stabs him. And then,
No!
No. Once, if you saw Jar Jar among all the Palpatine hoods,
Oh,
I wouldn't
yeah.
have been surprised, I feel.
he's
Gungans.
some manipulated.
Gungans.
So yeah.
Yeah.
the big boom boom, and then he's just like,
Lightning.
In the next episode, you should just talk like Jar Jar the whole time.
The whole time.
Oh my God, no, please don't.
These are the Gungan podcast.
That's, you do know that the Gungans are just like bad Jamaican
Yes, it's
accents.
bad, yeah.
It's so bad. It's so
Very racist.
It's
and
so awful.
no, sorry, not the Ewoks, but the little.
I hate Ewoks.
people
Sorry.
in. I think they are Ewoks.
They are Ewoks.
If you slow down the footage, if you like go back in the footage, it's Tagalog.
It
The
is
language.
Tagalog.
Yeah.
So Star Wars, yeah, George Lucas, they had problems. First show, Jesus.
We are Ewoks.
God, Carrie Fisher and everything. Who, by the way, owned it. Like, even though she was like hypersexualized, she still like completely owned the role and went on to be a fantastic producer, not necessarily an actress, but she became a great producer.
And like a writer also.
And gave birth to Billy Lord.
Yeah.
She gave birth to
We
Billy
stand
Lord, one of the most important things she's done.
She helped write When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah, she did.
That's cool.
I was so confused when I watched that for the first time,
Harry
and
Met Sally.
it didn't really come to mind na si Carrie
Carrie
Fisher,
Fisher,
yung
yeah.
friend
Yeah.
ni
That's-
yeah.
Sally. I was like,
So
wow,
good.
really good.
Because she sounds and looks different than
Yeah, she
older
does.
Yeah.
compared
Yeah.
to before.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
You guys want to like rank the 9 movies?
Oh, let's.
Oh,
Wala pa.
do you guys?
It's gonna be the end.
Sige, if you.
Yeah.
if you
Well,
guys
last
have-
Leia
Yeah, go.
bit. Random lang when I watched A New Hope again.
Yeah.
They were pronouncing it Leia and not Leia, so I don't know
Yeah.
what the real.
Leah. That's the Filipino
Filipino
version.
word.
Probably
It's like-
George. Yeah, a lot of what George Lucas wrote ended up not being like. Yeah, he originally was a star killer, and like he probably emphasized that like you have to pronounce it Leah, and he had the
Yeah.
whole thing where he said there's no underwear in space, blah blah blah.
And his wife had to double check.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it probably was originally Leah, but at
Yeah.
this point, George
Everyone's-
Lucas has relinquished control, so we
True.
can do whatever we want with it. So it's Leia.
And he didn't even appear in
Yeah.
the premiere of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust.
He's retired back to
He was like, I'm out.
Skywalker
I'm
Ranch.
not doing this.
Okay, so I guess we should end on that after this short break.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Don't tell me everything is gonna be alright when you couldn't even make me sleep at night. 'Cause I'm up thinking of you and every little thing you do to make me feel that this thing we have, it could be for real. 'Cause the truth is that I'm starting to feel something unfamiliar. Every single time I see you, smile, don't you know that I'm not used to feeling. So don't go around deceiving this fragile little heart of mine. I don't wanna waste another minute of your time. Just hoping that this isn't a waste of mine. Trying to figure out if you look at me and if you feel it too. falling for you. 'Cause the truth is that starting to feel something familiar. Every single time I say yeah, smile. Don't you know that I'm not used to feeling? So don't go around deceiving this fragile little heart of mine. Talk to me slowly and listen, but don't say that you're falling for me, my God, no. Show me the love that I'm missing, in hopes that you'll feel it within your heart. Ooh, I don't wanna feel this way with you. I know, darling, that it's nothing I could do. You know I love it. You know I love it, babe. Too long since I've been living in this room. Too lonely, I just need space for two. You know I want it. You know I want it, babe. You think that you know me? Look past you, the beauty, lady. 'Cause I'm only gonna break your heart, baby. But it's driving me crazy, the thought of you lately, baby. I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you. Lie to me, baby, I'll miss it. I'm certain I'll need you to let me go. Love to yourself from me. I don't wanna feel this way with you. I knew, darling, that it's nothing I could do. You know I love it, and you know I love it. Hey, too long since I've been living in this room. I'm too lonely, I just need space for two. You know I want it, and you know I want it. You think that you know me? Look past you, the beauty, lady. 'Cause I'm only gonna break your heart, baby. But it's driving me crazy, the thought of you lately, baby. I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you, and I'm falling for you, I'm falling for you. You think that you know me, the passions of beauty, lady. 'Cause I'm only gonna break your heart, baby. But it's driving me crazy, the thought of you lately, baby. I'm falling for you. Save me, save me, save me, I'm falling for you. Save me, save me, save me, I'm falling for you. Save me, save me, save me, I'm falling for you. Save me, save me, save me, I'm falling for you. When the summer
Okay, so I just want to talk about a short experience I had last Christmas
Yeah.
where we randomly got free ice cream from Carousel Creamery. So I'd like to thank Carousel Creamery
good.
for that. I mean, one of the great things about Carousel Creamery that time was that I was really wanting to pay for it, but the owner was
Yeah.
there and then
Very
knew
nice
someone
about
I knew,
it.
and then when we were going out and paying the bill, he was like, "Oh, bayad na po kayo." I was like,
Oh, sorry
"Yes."
naman, though.
Yeah, and it was super cool kasi they did not just have great ice cream, they have like 101 flavors.
Right?
But they have really cool geeky ice cream names.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna mention some that I found cool. There was the mango durian,
Ooh.
from the Mandalorian. So that's mango bits and stuff. Chewy baka, cow label
Chewy
beef
baka.
jerky. That's what
Ano yung...
It has cow label beef jerky.
Chewy baka.
They also had your Yoda, which is mint Oreos in mint ice cream.
Oh, that actually sounds kind of like something I'd try.
I would try that.
Meron
Yeah,
pa
the
rin-
other one scares me, but it's adventurous. which I
Ang ganda,
like.
their flavors are just really like cool.
Yeah.
And there's also BB-8 orange mochi and vanilla.
Oh, that sounds cool.
Really cool. Meron ding Carousel Calamansi 3000. It has strawberries and is sorbet. It's for Iron Man. I don't really
I
understand,
immediately thought
but
of Andre 3000. Oh, it's like I love you. Okay.
yeah,
I thought of
Calamansi.
Andre 3000.
Meron ding Dark Knight
Outcast.
Chalk for Batman. Man of Velvet for Superman.
Recently, no.
And there's a lot like Venom Berry Cheesecake and stuff. So yeah, check out Carousel Creamery. They're in Green Hills.
They have great ice
I love ice cream. So thank you so much, Carousel Creamery.
Yay.
And I hope I get more ice cream out of this. So yeah, back to the program.
Every
We are. Welcome back to our last bit of popcorn. So we just have one or two more things to
The
talk
little
about.
Two
pieces
things.
at
Yeah,
the bottom
yeah,
that
yeah.
didn't want to pop.
Yes. So
Yeah.
No, it's the powder that you scoop up with your finger.
Yeah, and then-
I don't do that.
You don't do that?
Oh,
I do that.
Sayang,
I do
man.
that.
Sayang.
Especially pag barbecue flavor, hindi siya dumidikit.
cheese.
It's just MSG.
Sour
It's just
cream.
MSG. Okay, whatever. Wow, hashtag healthy 2020.
We talked about ice cream and
Yeah, I
now
know.
we're talking about popcorn.
Yay.
Had a salad before.
And
I didn't have a
flavors.
salad before. I had a dog before this.
Okay, so
No, sponsor us.
Mickey
Sorry,
D's.
yes.
sponsor us, everyone. Netflix, Disney,
Jollibee.
Jollibee, anyone, everyone.
Okay.
We're free for
game.
advertisements,
We
even though
are.
some aren't even advertisements. I just really want.
People to know.
Yeah. I really felt strongly about that one. Like for real, I'm not kidding.
Alright.
He didn't even ask me. I just nag-volunteer lang ako. Anyway, so yeah, before we went on our break, we talked about ranking the 11 Skywalker saga related
All the
movies.
Star Wars films.
Yeah, basically all the
Except
Except for
Skywalker
the animated
plus-
film.
Yeah,
the live
yeah.
action Star Wars.
the
Yeah.
live action ones.
Kylo.
Okay, so who wants to go first?
Do you think we should go worst to best or best to worst?
I think worst the best. So it's like a
Okay, okay.
surprise.
Okay.
It ends on a high note.
We don't have a consensus
Yeah.
list, so we're just gonna be speaking about
Yeah.
our.
Yes.
Yeah.
No need to explain, na, I guess,
Yeah, you don't
because it's
need
gonna take so long.
Yeah.
Okay,
Who wants to go?
RJ can go first.
Okay, so number 11 is everyone's favorite. Price.
Eh,
Number 10, Phantom Menace.
eh.
Number 9, Attack of the Clones.
Mhm.
Number 8, Solo.
Oh, I was waiting for that one.
Number 7, A New Hope.
Ooh.
Number 6, The Force Awakens.
That's fine.
Number
course
5,
it is.
Last Jedi.
That's fine.
Number 4, Return of the Jedi.
Hmm.
Number 3, Empire Strikes Back.
Wow.
Number 2, Revenge of the Sith.
Ooh.
And
Oh, okay,
obviously,
okay.
First spot, Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Okay.
There we go.
Interesting.
Okay,
Very different.
let's go down the line now.
So my list is very different from yours. My bottom one, I'm just gonna say them. Like, my number 11 is Phantom Menace. Then the one beside that is Solo: A Star Wars Story. Number 10. Number 9 is number 9. Rise of Skywalker. Number oh my god, I can't keep track. But the next one
8.
is what do you call this? Attack of the Clones. I used to be a math major. Attack of the Clones. And
makes me very
beside
sad.
that is Rogue One. And then after that is Revenge of the Sith. After that is this is my top 5 now. Is Return of the Jedi, followed by Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, A New Hope, and then finally Empire Strikes Back.
Okay, cool,
Okay.
cool. We have similar like bottom of the barrel. So it's Phantom Menace is my worst one, even though it has a very special place in my heart. Solo is the next because I love Han and I feel like that movie was just bad. Attack of the Clones, Cassandra, Rise of Skywalker, Revenge of the Sith, Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, Rogue One, A New Hope, and then tied for the first spot is Empire and The Last Jedi.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tie. It has
Yeah.
to be.
Okay.
For me.
My number 11 is Phantom Menace. Like, that movie does
It
not
was
hold
just
up.
bad.
Does not hold up. 10, Rise of Skywalker. Sorry. 9, Attack of the Clones, which I still have a lot of fun with. I think Count Dooku is great.
Yes.
Yes.
Visually.
R.I.P.
Sorry.
8, Solo. 7, Return of the Jedi. I do not like Ewoks.
Yes.
6, Rogue One. 5, Revenge of the Sith, which I genuinely like. This is like Revenge of the Sith up is like my genuinely enjoy
and the fight
category.
scenes in Revenge of the Sith are
Yeah.
fantastic.
Number 4, Force Awakens. 3, Last Jedi. 2, Empire. 1, New Hope.
Cool.
So-
Kami ni Emil yung mas similar,
Oh, okay.
I guess. Well, I'm just gonna say that I haven't seen a lot of the older prequels recently.
Oh,
Like 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. I haven't seen 1, 2, 3 in a while.
Okay.
Maybe 1 was the most recent one I've seen. Yeah.
Of all the
Yes,
prequels,
why-
I don't know,
why
because I wanted to
one?
start again, like with the
right.
In the
prequels. But then I,
once literally it doesn't.
I really didn't really like find time to continue on. But
It is
Yeah.
a bit of a commitment.
yeah, so I'm gonna get there soon enough. So here's my
With the
list.
commitment.
Yeah. Okay, first, number 11 is Phantom Menace. 10, Attack of the Clones. 9, Solo. 8, Rise of Skywalker. 7, Return of the Jedi. 6, Rogue One. 5, Revenge of the Sith. 4, Force Awakens. 3, A New Hope. 2, The Last Jedi. And 1, Empire Strikes Back. Pero same as Paula, I'm kind of like torn between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That's my list. So, I guess last bit of Star Wars. What do you want to see in the future of Star Wars aside from the already announced stuff? Kasi they're already saying that Taika is gonna have his
Yes,
own.
he wants to do.
And he had a really good Mandalorian episode.
And
if
I
you
think I
haven't seen
really
it yet.
genuinely love Thor Ragnarok.
I do
It's
too.
awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah, it's weird.
For me, and I don't understand why I feel this because I do not feel superhero fatigue at all. But I do feel Star Wars fatigue, which is strange.
like RuPaul fatigue.
No, I don't have RuPaul fatigue either. But I do feel Star Wars fatigue probably because the fandom is just really bad. It makes the experience of watching very tiresome. So I think I would be
can't
totally
have-
fine if Star Wars took a break for a while.
I think, and they will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they
they
said they
will.
will.
Yeah, between all of this, I'm looking forward to that more than anything else because I feel like if they take a break or take a breather, they'll have more time to really think about what they can do with the franchise because the world is so large, and I hate that we're focused on like these tiny little things. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, same. I mean,
Yeah.
I really wish they could build the world even further from
Right? It's so
the parts we
fascinating.
know.
Yeah.
I mean, The Mandalorian kind of did that, although it's still kind of related
Yeah.
to what's happening that we know
Yeah.
of.
But it's not,
it's
like,
a good
directly
start.
tied.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good
I would say
start.
that is one of the things that I think 8 does very, very poorly. Is the entire Canto Bight like side quest is like of no
Oh, yeah,
consequence.
yeah,
Like, no one
that's-
cares.
yeah.
Although Benicio del Toro is great in it. God, I just hate how the past 9 movies have just been keeping up with the Skywalkers.
Right?
It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating, and it's literally them like
Messing up.
God. It's like Greek mythology, but terrible. It's like everyone's related and
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah,
cares.
yeah,
and it
yeah.
doesn't make any sense. I just wish that similarly I just wish that they would talk about
The
like
rest of the
yeah
world.
I think that's one of the things that although Rogue One was like middle of my list, I think that is one of the things I really love about Rogue One is that there aren't any Jedi in it,
Yeah.
which is cool. So yeah, he's
Like-
sits for it.
Okay, so like my favorite genre of film in general is the boring answer. It's drama. Like I love movies that are just people talking
Yeah.
problems, and I would dare Star Wars to have like a show or something that's really just about normal people living in this galaxy and sort of how all this conflict
or a
affects them.
Like it
sitcom.
just so
Because-
happens to be set there.
Yeah, because like throughout the 9 movies, it's so weird that this is a series called Star Wars, and none of them really feel like war
Wars.
movies, except for Rogue One, kind of. So I mean, I just want to see something different. Like, for me, it's not even enough na Mandalorian doesn't have Jedi and stuff. Like, play around with genre, play around with form,
Yeah,
and
the
stuff
way
like that.
Marvel is
Yeah, parang
doing
let Star Wars
a different genre.
let Star Wars breathe as a group of films. Don't just keep telling the same kind of story over
Yeah,
and over again.
yeah.
So yeah, besides new and fresh and whatever. So
Yeah, that's true.
I sort of agree with that. And, like, Star Wars is a very diverse universe, so you have the ability to play around with different genres in that way. Like, like the 9 films were like adventure stories where it's like hero's journey and all that. Rogue One was a war movie. Solo was sort of a heist, something like that. Sorta.
Yeah.
It was like that
I
sort of-
love
it
me
was-
some heist movies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Heist.
You watch
Quote
Rick and
unquote
Morty?
heist.
Yeah.
It's a
You watch
criminal
Rick and Morty?
movie.
So the you
So-
son of a bitch.
So anyway, so I feel like you have room to play around with that and definitely experiment more with the genres. And I feel like you have to loosen up the restrictions.
I agree.
Don't try and corporate mandate. No, or like I don't know.
We're talking about Disney here.
No, it's just that I feel like, or just take better care of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is you do that, but take care of it.
Take better care of it.
Because you already have like a proven commodity in terms of like how you can do a long-term universe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Whether you write next door.
Yeah.
And also, and just like as a side note, so that's like my realistic take. And impulse take, make a Star Wars fighting game.
Oh god.
That's
be
not
fun.
bad.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Makes
Make a
sense.
Star Wars fighting game that makes sense. Give it to the guys who made Tekken and Soul Calibur.
Yeah, yeah, it's just strange because I feel like there's things that people really, really want to see, like in their subconscious, like a fight like in Revenge of the Sith where they use their force powers, but like on a grander scale where they're literally throwing like buildings at each other.
Which is
Wouldn't that
why
be
I loved what Luke
insane?
did, because it was
Yeah.
a different way to use the
Exactly,
Force.
things
Force
like
Unleashed
that.
had a lot of
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That like things like that. And I just don't understand why
I
they
think
decide to go with the fan service
Yeah.
that's like annoying.
I think jumping from that is I want them to treat the series as a little less sacred.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really
Please.
play around
Forget
with
it,
it,
man.
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
It can't just be this forever.
Yeah.
Learning from what happened in The Rise of Skywalker.
Lord of the Rings. man.
Yeah. No, I mean, given that they gave in and stuff here,
Yeah.
that should be the next response they should
Yeah.
have.
Yeah.
So, dear Kathleen Kennedy, or whoever will take the helm
So disappointed.
of Lucasfilm,
Bob Iger.
please hear us out.
Please, Bob Iger, please.
Bob Iger, throw $2 billion at them and then it'll be good.
Yeah.
I'll give it
What about you? What do you think?
Well, I generally agree with everyone. I just want something new. I mean, it's proven na with The Mandalorian na they can stray away a bit and people will still appreciate it
Yeah.
with
You
the
really just
things.
push it.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed Baby Yoda.
Everybody enjoyed
Afterwards.
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda, more Baby Yoda.
Can I just say, I don't think I said this in the last episode, but I get frustrated when people say Baby Yoda because he's not Yoda.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
He is
well,
Baby
the
Yoda.
child.
Yeah, but no,
I mean, that's
but
the slang term
But I
lang,
also
Baby Yoda.
understand because the Yoda species doesn't have a
They
name.
don't have a name.
Yeah, yeah.
Baby green thing doesn't sound as nice. So, alright.
And the
Cute
child
thing.
doesn't have the same like
Yeah.
adorableness.
Yeah, yeah,
Baby
but
booger.
yeah, definitely you play around with it more, and try to do what the Last Jedi did, and like really break,
rules.
yeah, break the loop,
Just be more chill about it because
Yeah.
then you won't get as visceral of a
Exactly.
reaction.
and make Star Wars for everyone, not just the fans.
Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah.
they started with Rey and Finn and everyone. Hopefully, we have more characters
Yeah, imagine if
representative.
Yeah, imagine if they pandered to the people that were hating on Captain Marvel before it came out. It would have been a terrible movie. And
Exactly,
that's fun. You know?
and more Asian representation for sure.
yeah.
Rose.
Rose,
Justice for Rose.
and we had what's the name from Rogue One? Si
Si...
Blind.
One with the
Si
force, the
Chirrut
force is
Imwe.
with me.
yeah, Chirrut Imwe.
Oh, Chichiri.
What's it?
So-
Donnie Yen.
Yeah.
Donnie Yen.
We need more Asians.
Oh, I
like maybe
love Donnie
Aquafina in Star Wars.
I would be down for that.
She was in Jumanji. So
Yeah,
I would be
yeah.
so down for that.
If Man 4 comes out this year, I'm so excited. It has Bruce Lee in it. Sorry. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's our Star Wars
Wars wrap.
wish list. But upcoming in
I'm sure
Star
Paul Iger
Wars,
listens to this.
February, the Clone Wars season 7
Yeah.
final season comes out,
Cool.
and all the
I need to
stuff in
rewatch.
production like
Yeah.
Obi-Wan and Cassian
They're doing a
Andor,
Darth Maul thing.
Darth Maul probably.
I wanted to do something
uh,
with Mace Windu pala. That's what I wanted.
Well, I think there was something about
R-rated Mace.
Samuel Jackson saying he wants to
He wants
continue.
to
Yeah, so hopefully maybe in the Obi-Wan series he
Oh, dude,
appears.
if he appeared with his purple
Oh
lightsaber.
my
Yeah.
god.
He should have a mustache for no reason. Bald with a mustache.
Afro. No, he's
What are you doing here, Kenobi?
I've had it with his mother.
With an eye patch also.
The episode is
Mess it
called
up.
Mother. So yeah, yun yung upcoming Star Wars stuff. So
Yeah.
there's no lack of Star Wars on the series end, but on the movies end,
Film-wise, it's a break.
Come on.
yeah, it's a break. We don't know what's gonna happen, and they haven't announced anything.
Stop.
Maybe not until like 2 celebrations later, Star Wars celebrations.
Yeah.
So yeah, and now that is our Star Wars talk. We are now back to Earth with our Pop Stop, our last bit of the show where we talk about our recommendations for the week and what we've watched, what we want to recommend to everyone. Who wants to start?
You could
Okay, I will start.
You could start.
You want to start, Cholo?
Halsey's album just came out. It's called Manic.
yeah,
It's really good. I wasn't really a big fan of Halsey. I mean, I like some of her songs, but
I will still dance to it no matter what.
it's a good song.
Boy with Love BTS feature.
Yes. But anyway, Manic is really good. It dabbles with, plays around with different genres and has really good writing and makaka-relate ka talaga in a lot of songs. So that's one. I will look for my other recommendations.
Yes.
Nasa na yun? Ayun. I just watched Little Shop of Horrors for the first time ever.
Interesting.
It's really campy. It's like Rocky Horror,
Yeah.
but like for kids-ish,
Yeah, it
but
is.
not completely for kids. But it's really fun. I love the songs. It's just really good. And I also listened to the Jonathan Groff cast soundtrack.
Yeah. It's
I-
like the cats of the 1970s.
Oh, it makes more sense.
It makes more sense
Yeah,
than
yeah.
cats.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and lastly, there was one more thing that I want to recommend. Doctor Who series 12 is out, the second season featuring
It's,
Jodie Whittaker
yeah,
as the
Jodie
13th
Whittaker.
Doctor. Compared to the first season, which I also liked, this is a return to form for Doctor Who.
Really?
Embracing more of the older series. Kasi the series 11, her first season, kind of tried to break the
Capaldi.
more of like they wanted to stray away from the universe for a moment na not a lot of the backstory of the Doctor was involved, but now the Daleks have appeared na in the New Year special last year, not in this series, and they're embracing the old and putting in some new stuff. And there was like a line, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but parang it's more like everything you know is not right. Parang ganun. Parang The Last
For
Jedi.
the Doctor.
Yeah, for the Doctor. Like everything we know about the Doctor, Gallifrey, etc. It's not what we think it was. So hopefully it turns out really well. It's
What
only
incarnations is he?
Supposed
she
to be.
It.
it she just got granted a new set
Yeah.
after Capaldi. So there's still a lot of
I just want the Doctor to be Ginger next. Like,
Yeah.
let
Karen
it
Gillan
be
comes back.
achieved.
yeah, so those are my 3 recos. Doctor Who's still on the 4th episode, so mga 6 episodes to go pa. And I'm just not gonna spoil anything else for you
Yes,
fans to
please.
enjoy. And watch Doctor Who for everyone else who does not know Doctor Who. That's how Paul and I are mainly friends because
Yeah,
of Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
So
And
yeah,
Funko Pops.
Stan Doctor Who. Amazing show.
Okay, I have a bunch of recommendations. Like off the top of my head, number one, I'm very late to this, but if you've never listened to an album called Hounds of Love by Kate
Oh.
Bush,
Yeah.
which I only recently really started listening to, it's maybe
I have
like
never, so I will.
it came out like 1985. It's made like
Oh.
I know
It's really old.
this is like a bold statement to make, but I think it's the best album I've ever listened to in my life.
Ooh.
It's great.
And he's listening to Abbey Road.
Yeah, no, yeah. And then number two, diverting from Star Wars, the new Star Trek series, Star Trek Picard, comes out this
Yes.
week. Where Patrick
I'm
Stewart
hyped.
is.
I'm
Yeah.
hyped for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there was some news about Whoopi Goldberg probably returning to Star Trek.
Awesome. Yeah, Data is
literally
back.
said like you should come back. Yeah.
And she said, parang...
She would. What does she got? What does she have to lose, right?
Whoopi.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then lastly, I was thinking about like the wasted potential of these actors. So I'm gonna recommend things that I love that they've done that's not Star Wars. So for Adam Driver, Stream Marriage Story. Don't listen. Don't listen to the memes. It's much better than they make it out to be.
But the memes are good too.
Sure, yeah.
I love Scarlet dancing.
They're not supposed to be taken seriously.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
True naman. But
Yeah.
it colors people's
does. Yeah.
perception of the movie. For Oscar Isaac, watch Inside Llewyn Davis.
Yes.
If you
His
ever get
best
the
film.
chance.
You're
Yeah,
gonna go a
it's
different
so
road.
good.
I'm gonna say Ex Machina.
I was gonna say that
No,
too.
So great.
I
The dancing, everyone's just dancing. Adam Driver was
Yeah.
singing in
Yeah,
Marriage
Company,
Story.
yeah.
Oscar Isaac was dancing in
Yeah.
X-Men.
And then for Kerry Russell, who plays Zori Bliss, please, dear God, watch The Americans. The Americans is one of the best shows of the last decade. Kerry Russell is incredible in it, and you only get to see her eyes in Rise of
this
Skywalker,
film.
which is such an injustice because she's so good in that
And she's
in
just
that show.
love interest.
Yeah, it's
Just to make sure he wasn't completely gay or something. We did not talk about that, but whatever.
Yeah.
Make out, and she's like, no. And it's like,
Yeah, but yeah, like in case people don't know what The Americans is about, it's her and Matthew Rhys
Yeah.
As Russians trying to
Yeah,
be
they're playing
Americans.
deep Russian spies in during the Cold War, and they have kids already, and they're still Russian spies, and they sort of start to feel torn about, do they follow the orders of their country or do they care more about their family? And it's super good. 6 seasons. The last
How many episodes per season?
Siguro mga it's 13 episodes
Okay,
each. And
I like watching those
and then the last
lengths.
season is 10 episodes, and the series finale is one of the best finales that I've ever seen. Talaga.
That's
So
Okay.
saying something.
yes,
So, on my list. Next.
yes.
I have 2 to recommend, I think, right now. So the first one is Jojo Rabbit. I just
Oh
saw
my
it
gosh,
this
I like
Monday.
that. I really.
Fantastic
Still haven't
film. Taika, I think, is just a brilliant director, and I can't wait to see more of what he does.
That was so endearing.
yeah,
oh.
and I think like as much as people like to make fun of Scarlett Johansson,
She was
she's
really good.
So good in it.
She was
fantastic.
great
Yeah.
here.
100%
Oh my gosh.
People like being
Deserves
so
the
angry
nom, for sure.
her noms when she clearly deserves them.
Yeah.
So fantastic.
She played a tree. Joke. Where the rabbit
So-
goes into.
Jojo Rabbit.
Played an Asian tree.
Like excellent performances all around. It's not a perfect film, but I think it's a just very enjoyable watch.
It's kind of like, I'd say, parang this generation's The Boy in striped pajamas.
I wouldn't say the boy
Okay,
in
no,
striped
but that's
pajamas.
No, I mean,
depressing.
you could-
That's so depressing.
No, I mean, in the fact that I watched it in high school, and if you show this kind to young kids,
I don't think
parang
it would
ganun.
have the same effect kasi of the boy in the striped
I
pajamas.
mean, that's
because
completely
there's less
different.
consequences
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
film,
Yeah.
Right?
I don't know.
Pero parang ganun, for me, ganun lang yung na-feel ko
No, it's
na.
like this generation's
Shout out
like
Mr.
Wes
Tomas.
Anderson.
Yeah,
type of
you
movie.
get what I'm saying, though.
I would not,
Not
compare
with
it.
Boy
to
I mean,
Striped
of course, that one's
pajamas.
completely ibang level
That's
na.
really
Pero
sad.
in a sense na, if kids were to watch this in a bit. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Mas a life is beautiful
There,
talaga.
yeah,
More
yeah.
than-
Sorry.
I was thinking also like Princess Bride because it's comedy.
I guess
don't
like
know.
the campiness of it.
Yeah.
So I
Wrong
just really-
analogy.
I just really loved it. Great performances all around, even for the children.
Sorry, Rose.
So yeah, Jojo Rabbit, highly recommended. The other one is I just finished watching the 2nd season of Sex Education.
Oh,
Probably one
I've
of the
heard
best
so
shows
much,
that I've
yeah.
seen.
I've
like,
been
in
hearing a
such
lot about
long
this
time.
bus scene, but I haven't seen any season.
It's just really good. I think I love Sex Education in the way that it portrays these sexual frustrations that teenagers have, and I think it talks about it in a very refreshing way. It's not stigmatized at all, and especially for girls, I think Sex Education should be a watch for everyone out there. So there you
Okay,
go.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Yes, highly recommended.
For me, I'd recommend a movie called I Lost My Body. It's the only non-Hollywood movie
Downloaded
nominated
that.
for animated feature film. It's on Netflix.
What country is it from?
It's
France?
from France.
France.
And the director, it's the first feature-length film of the director.
Yeah.
He did a bunch of short animated films. And it's up there for me with Parasite, with how good it is.
How good it is?
It's
That's
amazing.
insane.
God, I was watching it. It's only 80 minutes long, by the way. And
Okay.
the story is very simple. There's a disembodied hand that's looking for its body. That's the story,
What a
it
premise.
sounds ridiculous. But it's Pixar levels of, I don't know why, but the hand doesn't say anything, but I can feel what it feels. And
So
I'm
it's
worried
walang
about it,
dialogue
scared
at
about
all?
it. No, the hand doesn't obviously speak. And that's
Yeah,
just little hand thing. But it never does that. Spoilers, sorry. But it cuts between, the context of like, why is the hand there? And if I tell you, it'll spoil the entire movie. But it's, why is the hand there? Like, how, like, who owns the hand? What happened to that dude? And everything. And it cuts back and forth between flashbacks. And in terms of writing, it's up there with Knives Out. The planting of
yeah.
the planting of elements and how everything comes together is fantastic. It's so wonderful. And the best part about it is you could never do this live action.
Yeah.
You would be freaked out if you saw hand walking. So the fact that
Parang Adam's Family.
yeah, it's one of those things. That's exactly what the director.
So is it kind of like The Missing Piece? What's that book, The Missing Piece? Na parang, or yung, there's like a part of us.
No, because
I don't know.
the
Yeah, yeah,
hand, no, because the hand's a character. Like
Okay,
it's literally,
yeah.
it has motivation. It's more well written than some characters in Rise of Skywalker.
Ooh.
The shade of
It's
it all.
fantastic.
The
I
tea
loved it.
has been spilled.
It's a little. It's also similar to Parasite in the sense that I can't define it because it's
Yeah.
really funny.
But
it also becomes like a drama. It also becomes a horror sometimes.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really amazing and it's seamless. I can't recommend it enough. It's so fun. It's 80 minutes. It's so short also. It definitely. So I mean, so far from the 4 animated films I've seen in
Yeah.
that category, it deserves to win. And it should be nominated for like visual effects and editing and also sound. The sound's incredible.
Really?
So yeah, can't recommend it enough. For I guess like more audio stuff. I'm gonna try to do my best to recommend podcasts because last time I was here I also recommended a podcast, and this time I'm gonna recommend the Joe Rogan Experience. It's
I've been hearing a lot
podcast,
about
yeah.
this. I haven't tried.
It's a podcast on YouTube hosted by Joe Rogan. If you guys don't know who Joe Rogan is, I bet you actually do because he was the host of Fear Factor, and he was also the host of some MMA stuff. And the reason
He's
why I
one of
love it,
the pioneer podcasters.
yes, he is because he started doing this in like 2009.
Wow.
So he has like
Yes.
1,000
He has
plus
over
episodes.
1,000 episodes, and he gets the likes of like recently Robert Downey Jr., Jamie Foxx.
Wow.
He gets like the likes of those people, but he also brings on like just anyone. He literally doesn't care who he brings
That's
on.
cute.
And the reason why I love it is because, like for example, one of the questions he asked Jamie Foxx was, "What did you think when Robert Downey Jr. did blackface in Tropic Thunder?" He doesn't care. Like he doesn't get paid to do this podcast. He literally only gets it because he's also famous.
Yeah.
There's no sponsorships ever on the podcast. It's literally just him asking what he wants to ask.
That's
So he also asked Robert Downey Jr., would you ever do Iron Man again? What's the process of the MCU like? Did you have to change your like outward appearance to fit into Kevin Feige's? He doesn't care. And it's probably the most brutally honest podcast I've listened to. So yeah.
Okay, so I sort of have four, technically 5-ish things I want to recommend. So first is a movie. Since we were just talking about John Boyega, it's this 2011 movie called Attack of the Block.
Attack the Block.
Because I just rewatched it recently just because I remember I was like my first exposure to who John Boyega was, and I know it still holds up, and it's also just surprising. It also surprised me because I know in hindsight I remember a few of those other guys in the movie, like the guy who plays he was in The Flash. Can't remember what his
Grant
name is.
Gustin?
Yeah, he was in the he's Firestorm.
No, that's
No.
not Grant Gustin. Grant Gustin
Grant
is
is
The
The
Flash.
No.
No, but yeah,
I forget his name. Yeah. Si Firestorm.
Yeah.
Which one? The younger Firestorm or the older?
Younger.
Okay.
I forget his
Not
name.
kindergarten, not
Yeah.
So, in terms of shows, because I watch a lot of anime, I guess the one I could recommend now would probably be this one show called Psycho-Pass.
Oh, so good.
Yes.
So good.
So, for anyone
Sorry.
who doesn't know what Psycho-Pass is, it takes place in Japan, like the distant future, where everyone has like this thing called crime coefficients, where it's a number that determines how likely you are to commit a crime.
Also,
in
it's
the
like
future.
Nosedive, but like for
It's like
criminals.
Minority Report. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So,
But anime.
Your analogy is way better.
So the police restructured their ranks so that you have inspectors who are assigned partners who are latent criminals who help identify who these criminals are, and there's this whole dilemma of you think it should be right that people should in terms of albums, actually I'm not gonna recommend an album. The thing I'm probably gonna skip to right now. It's like both a game and a comic. The Spider-Man PS4 game is really
Oh, it's amazing.
Excellent.
and I think for Spider-Man specifically, I have to recommend. It's something that came out last year. It's this specific issue where there's a guy. It's framed as someone trying to film a documentary about who Spider-Man is.
Oh, that's cool.
And
J. Jonah Jameson.
no, but it's like
Which Spider-Man series is
it was
this?
Spectacular Spider-Man.
That's the new ongoing, diba?
I'm not sure. I will find it. I will link it to you on Facebook.
And we will share it
Yes.
to the world.
So it's like people sharing like really good and bad experiences, that stuff. Like, oh, Spider-Man saved my kids, so you know, we have to be together.
We have to.
And I was like, oh, Spider-Man, you saved my baby, and like we want to name him. Do you have any recommendations? And then they're like, there was this really funny scene where it's like, Spider-Man saves a guy who owned a hot dog stand, and the hot dog stand was like, I'm gonna give you free hot dogs for every day for the rest of your life.
Oh.
So Spider-Man goes there every day. Talks to the
That's
guy.
such a Spider-Man.
I would
thing.
too.
He talks to the guy every day, and he's like, God, like I feel like he goes here every day because he doesn't have money.
That's probably true.
No, that is true, right?
It's true,
Doesn't he,
he's
like,
broke. Yeah.
There's like a meme of like
Batman and Iron Man throwing money at each other. It's just like,
Money.
please.
And Spider-Man just talks to him, and he's like, I wish he just let my stand get destroyed. But but it also gets like in the inside of how like he's really just like a normal guy and it ends with this really good interview with Peter Parker, who's like, I know I'm not Spider-Man, but and so on and so forth. I'll find the link and I'll send it
But
to
if
you.
I was,
If I was
I'd
Spider-Man,
be his biggest fan.
no, it's not
I
like
bet
that.
he's really handsome
It's
and
actually
sexy.
Okay, I think I found what you're talking about.
It's like it's
Is it this one?
Oh yes.
Okay, so it's called. It is Spectacular
It
Spider-Man.
is Spectacular Spider-Man.
What issue is this? I'm trying to look for it right now. It's number 310 of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Okay, so yeah, please look that
So
up.
we're gonna look it up.
It's a
find
it's a
it.
really good short read.
Thanks, internet.
Yeah.
Yay.
And
I just
it-
searched the keywords.
Go Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I searched the keyword Spectacular Spider-Man documentary.
Yeah.
And then like just in general, Spider-Man had like a really good run of comics. I recommend that. He's the greatest superhero on.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites
he is
also.
the poster boy of Marvel.
Yes, greatest superhero.
No, he
on
is.
All right, so that is our show for the week. Thank you guys for coming
Yeah,
in.
thanks, Cholo.
Emil and Dren, this is your third
Oh God.
for the year.
Yeah.
Paula, hope we see you again.
This is my fourth.
I mean, we
Happy
hope we see you again more this
Yeah,
year.
oh yeah.
And RJ, happy trails back to the US. Thanks for being one of our US listeners and viewers.
Thank you for keeping me stay up during all those late nights I need to stay up.
Aw,
He watches us at like 3 a.m.
Or all the times Ateneo has murdered everyone. 16-0. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone for listening in to this episode of Popcorn, your stop for all things pop. Of course, do follow us on social media. That's at Popcorn with Cholo, at Popcorn W Cholo on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and rate us on Apple Podcasts. Of course, follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and wherever you can watch or hear podcasts. Of course, we're also here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. A lot of great shows on this station as well. So go and listen to them. We have a variety. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone. We hope you can recommend us to your friends. Kahit one friend lang per each person. That would be a great
Yeah.
help. And do chime us in with what else you'd like to hear us talk about in the future episodes. So thank you everyone. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
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 This is your stop for all things pop. catch our all-around pop culture geek, Chola Sediaren, as he throws in some dose of what's poppin' and what's hot in the pop culture scene here on Popcorn. Munch in with us every Thursdays from 4 to 6, only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.